To the big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome back in. 2 o'clock here as we head through the afternoon. Couple hours left in the trading session that's turning into a pretty exciting one. I was mentioning, if you were with us this morning, about halfway through the morning or so in the pre-market, we had a bit of a reversal taking place in the actual US dollar, some of the yields, longer term yields moving back to the upside. This is the USD right now. So this was this morning. We were way down here at 103 and change, all the way back to 103.80 at the highs now. So very, very positive for the dollar. The 30-year back to 4.39 currently. 10-year back to the upside as well, 4.1 on the 10-year. So yeah, not helping as far as equities are concerned. There are a few still making pretty impressive moves, including, yeah, DWAC. We'll get to that in a sec. This one as well. RVSN up 200+% on 1.3 million shares. So teeny tiny little float there for RVSN. Took out $9 at the high, is pulling, there we go. Took out $9 up here, is pulling back to 7 right now, but we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on DWAC as well. Yeah, kind of a chop fest, really. I mean, that's about as mixed as you're gonna see this board. A little bit of negativity coming from the retail space once again. Home Depot, Costco, to name a few. Lowe's even down to 2%. Walmart just going negative. Amazon still holding on to positive territory. Procter & Gamble, nice day off earnings, 4.5% better than expected for them. Pepsi, Nike, to name a few, they're in positive territory. Yeah, big tech, pretty muted today. They are positive for the most part, but not huge moves, to say the least. Apple continuing its run over that it's been doing over the past couple of days. Hi, Sharif. He's right there, just hanging out. Netflix we'll get into here to kick things off as well, up 0.5% ahead of earnings coming up tonight. Tesla tomorrow after the close touched $500. I was wondering what he was doing. He was like sitting there staring at the TV. Anyway, yeah, Digital World Acquisition Corporation, the New Hampshire primary on deck, I guess underway already over in New Hampshire. So a lot of attention being paid to DWAC, a lot of attention being paid to PHUN, a lot of attention being paid to Rumble once again as well. So thoughts here, guys. I mean, we kicked things off this morning with a look at some of the Chinese ADRs. They've been a little bit negative today, but maybe DWAC, more DWAC and more DWAC this afternoon.
So
there could be some DWAC. There could
about
be some
DWAC.
Never heard of it.
Remember $50 on DWAC?
No.
Well, I guess we're going to open with DWAC, despite the fact that it's at the bottom of that thing. So the $50 break, let's just say it happened and it would have been spectacular, but nature calls. And when nature calls, you've got to listen. Now, DWAC is not the kind of stock where you could just set a bracket order and like, yeah, we'll just get in and it's fine if you're not sitting at your desk, because it was doing nothing at 47 when I got up. And then the next thing you know, it was breaking out at 50. So really, that kind of came out of nowhere to take out the morning high. I was in and out at 55. However, what has worked is you can just scalp on Funware while DWAC broke, because when DWAC made that break to the upside, nothing was happening on Funware. It broke out at 44 and then just went long right into 47. So I tried some longs after the fact, but really the story here with Funware is it's not nearly as strong as DWAC. I might go back to looking short because I was short the stock when DWAC was failing. So I might just go back to that well, because this is the move, 44 to 47 on DWAC, on Funware, when DWAC went absolutely ham. That just tells me that Fun is relatively weak, and it's probably a fade every time DWAC looks weak. So I'll go back to the well when that comes back in. I mean, we open with DWAC here because that's all of the rage. That says China bounce, but
yeah,
really the Chinese names, I mean, well, they're okay. Like there were some moves out there in BABA. This morning was the bigger story for them. This afternoon, it's going to be these small caps and these runners, and it's the RUMs and the DWACs of the world, and that other one. What's that other RVSN or whatever the hell it is? Yeah, whatever that thing is as well. Those have been the big time movers, and the overall market, it's flat. But it doesn't mean there aren't things to trade out there. You saw Meta going absolutely nuts. Still haven't figured out what that was about.
Guys, pretend like you had fun at the bottom and you still have it right now. That's 25% in the money. We're more than that right now on Rumble. We still have this one, man. This is from the sticky note, 540 all the way up to $7. The market is just been an exciting one here today, and I'm glad that everybody has joined us up and is watching because, wow, Rumble, we're still in this as it continues to go. Remember 630? Yeah, we got that, and then it just kept on going to the upside. So we're here, man. $3 in the money on a firm off VWAP. We still have this trade. Highest profitable stock for me today is going to be the triple Qs. We nailed this one to the wall. That was a great short trade for us on the NASDAQ. So look what we've traded today. We've traded Rumble, which has nothing to do with the NASDAQ. We've traded the NASDAQ. We've traded Affirm, Tesla, UAL, Square, Nile, Google, AMD, and Apple. It's been a very, very busy day. Thank you so much for watching. We're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, impressive for Rumble. To the upside today, 6.7% here still for UAL. It was up, it was down, and then it's done absolutely nothing since. So two-way trade available. I mean, if you were looking, depending on how you were looking at this morning, but earnings better than expected for United this morning. I mean, there's still some lingering issues with this Boeing stuff in the background, but good look today. Holding up nicely here for United.
It starts selling off at the call, Brendo, around 10:30 or so. That's why we were telling you guys that's when the call started. Guys, they were going to ground 79 of these 737 MAX 9s. They have the most of any carrier in the United States. With respect to earnings, they beat on the top and bottom line, $600 million in net income for the quarter, but that's down about 29% year over year, Brendo. So we'll have to wait and see how this one does the rest of the year.
It's looking actually a little bit questionable right now. Just rejected 41 here, guys, again for United.
41, no. Okay, so we were in that name at 40 right here. It just was, we were trading it. This is why I don't trade earnings calls. Like, why not just be multiple dollars in the money on everything else? All right, so it came in, it bounced, it hit that level and started to go up to the upside. Good day for UAL. If you closed your eyes and just had this trade, you'd be at this level right here, right now. So up and down and around, I'm not super excited about it. It's UAL, not really making me too excited here, but maybe it breaks down here. I'd still look at this 40 bottom one more time, worth the shot, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up being, like, that is the problem with earnings calls. I've been in that spot before. Your level can be dead on, but in the heat of the moment during that call, like, anything happens, and you almost want things to settle down. So UAL, not much for shade. We ended up not talking about China there. Apologies. You know, we're over here. It gets loud over there. We're supposed to talk about China, and we end up talking about DWAC and Rumble, which apparently are at the bottom there. But just one thing, Alibaba, you got to acknowledge the big move that the Chinese ADRs make, some support coming in from the Chinese government, yada, yada, yada. They set aside some funds to support the market because their market's been crap. BABA is headed back toward that 74. I did get out too early. I think if we get back to VWAP on Alibaba, looking at 73.5 for entry spot. The 73 level was pretty good. Took it for the half buck, but now let's look for the dip back into 73.5. It is at that level, or that time of day, I should say, where you don't necessarily expect the huge monster moves on the Chinese ADR. So if it gets back into VWAP, I'd look for 73.5 back into 74. Not really going to be shorting it. It's a pretty strong day today for this Chinese ADR, and I think most of them.
All right, bye-bye market. We are short the Qs right now. We're short the NASDAQ. Like I said, we're trading everything over here, and for good reason. I mean, I want to see where this market goes at some point here. I think it's going to go to the downside, obviously. We should still be short other names. We're short Affirm, and we'll watch out for these Qs. Look, the only trade that we had was NEO, and it was a great one. It was my #1 stock until we started trading other things. But right now, it's a nice move for NIO, and it looks like it's heading back down in. We took that bid off 45, worked out, and we'll just continue to watch out for this one down near 610. Alibaba was the name that was on my list, and I actually have an order to go long in my own account, but that's down near 70, so we didn't get down there. Alibaba, nice run up. I still say we wait for a flush in some kind of a market to take this Alibaba trade, but for right now, I think it's a pass.
All right, Netflix on the board this morning as well. Nice pop on this WWE announcement going into earnings after the close tonight. So it was a bit of a choppy ride back down, but we do go red versus where we closed yesterday. And then it came back up and held that nicely. So 0.5% right now positive ahead of, again, the report coming up.
Yeah, Brendo, Netflix, big today at 4 o'clock. The deal here with TKO, which is the parent company of WWE, is for more than 10 years. About $5 billion. It starts in about a year from now. About 17.5 million viewers is how much Raw gets now on a weekly basis. Let's see what they do with Netflix. And separately, Brendo, Dwayne Johnson just got added to the board of TKO.
Yeah, I saw him on, he was on CNBC this morning, I guess, talking about the deal and how it was structured. So, yeah, that was kind of cool. 8.7 billion revenue estimate for earnings for Netflix tonight. So I was just double checking, Sean, right at 4 o'clock, I see, for timing for the recap.
Oh, yeah. Finally, we're back. We are back into earnings season, baby. We're ready to rock and roll. And I mean, Netflix is going to kick it off here today for the, I'm not going to say kick it off, but out of all the important ones, I think many of us are looking for Netflix. Implied move of about $40, up and down about 6-7%. So should be a juicy play today. It's Netflix. We're excited for it. I don't have any trades. I mean, I feel like it's coiling up to beat. I said that this morning. And the reason why is we just keep on bouncing off this 50 period. It really hasn't been that dramatic. I feel like we are waiting for this. I said earlier when we were up all that jazz that I didn't really think that WWE and Netflix, that this was that huge of a deal. I do like it for Netflix because live sports is the one missing thing for Netflix and for many of these properties, right? And so we saw the big deal from Apple with Lionel Messi and bringing it to MLS. And now you're seeing, again, there's only one WWE and now they have it. So their biggest program is Raw. I really like it. And I really like the move. So let's see if we can make a little bit of money here on Netflix off the earnings report. But for me, not worth touching it here late day, right? I mean, we don't know where this name's going to go. Could flush. I believe last Netflix earnings, and if you guys were with me, you would know, we traded it that day and it was pretty wild at the close. So we'll see if it has any dramatic moves one way or another. But for me, I like to stay away from these names until they actually report.
Yeah, unless you traded it at 7 o'clock, the best and most interesting level happened really early, and that was when it in the pre-market there were some fills, I think, up near a 500 to 502 level. But on the weekly chart, look, man, Meta. I've been on the brain after that silly move to the downside. I still don't know why it moved so much. But anyways, Netflix, it's got a lot of room to run. When everything went nasty into 2021 for them, this is only back to 500, and that was a key level previously. So if it were to break out, it's got a lot of room to go to the upside. It's definitely consolidating. But the problem with Netflix is when Netflix is consolidating, that makes it not that great of a day trade. Had you gotten up to the 500 level, I think that would have given us something to work off of. But fading it up there was about your only trade today. Instead, we're just going to have to wait. I keep saying this, and just because it's not going to be on the topic board, but Meta made that big rollover early afternoon and then held resistance underneath 385. The good news is it's double bottomed here off the opening low with that 383. Let's see a retest of that 383 before being convinced that Meta is going to be a buy. Because if there was no reason for Meta to fall like this, like why can't it retrace to VWAP if the market's not doing much of anything? But still keeping the ear to the ground. I don't know why Meta rolled over $4. It was a strong stock all day.
Like a couple billion out of the money. Let's talk about, we were just talking about Bill Ackman and his Netflix trade from way back when. Anyway, RIVN. Some headlines this morning. I mean, holding on to this area that we were talking about nicely, 15.5 down to 15. For Rivian, yeah, they picked up a former Apple and Porsche exec specifically for this R2 platform launch. If you've been away or not paying attention for the past little while, we've been talking about it quite a bit on the podcast as well. We're discussing the fact that this was said, and I even mentioned this, there was an analyst note that I was reading about Rivian that specifically pointed to this being their quote-unquote Model 3 moment, as it was for Tesla when they went from just the bigger, more expensive, higher-end vehicles to something that would appeal for, a mass audience.
The question is, does RJ have the guts to sleep at the Gigafactory, like Elon?
Remains to be seen.
No, I'm kidding. Guys, we're going to possibly see what they have to offer here in early 2024. I'm talking about the R2 platform. And then expected production kicks the can down the road to 2026. So some time before we actually get the product of this platform, Brendo, but very optimistic.
I've been, I don't know about you, but I've been slowly seeing more and more of these things around this city. Specifically the SUV as well, the R1S, which is really nice too, guys.
Yeah, well, today RIVN went right to yesterday's high and turned. It's pretty much, it's that simple. The trade was, I got out too early. When we gave the real deal in the middle of the day, I think one of the things I discussed was why that was a bad exit point. And well, not necessarily, obviously you can look back in hindsight and say that was getting out of the short too early, but it was the reason why. And when it bounced off, when it first bounced off this previous resistance, trying to make that same stair step down, there wasn't a lot of buying volume. And that can be a reason to hold on to a little bit more and then make a decision point at the next available decision point. So I probably would have covered it at 16 even. I tried it again off 16, got half out for a win and then took a stop out. I would get to VWAP here, maybe look for a sell. The good news for RIVN, I know it's rejected a couple times today, or the last 2 days have rejected that same high, but it is bouncing off this $15 level. So it's not all doom and gloom. This is on a higher time frame, there's a consolidation off 15 to about, call it like 17 bucks or just shy of 17. So it's giving you a consolidation off those lows. You can short the pops. We're not really getting the chance at the 15 level the last couple of days to go long there. But this is something where the EV names have been under so much pressure. If it bounces off 15 and breaks out this 17, it doesn't take much for it to get to 20. You're just talking about a bit of a relief rally for RIVN. Maybe this is the start of it. But for now, you're working off to 15, and it cannot seem to get through this 2-day top. When it fails it, look for those shorts. I am in that, I'm Fisker in the other way. We were Fisker this morning, just to go into it here, because I am now long Fisker when I was short it. It's the same bot. Yesterday, I didn't reverse the short off the dollar when it bottomed at 88. This time, I saw it make the higher low, jumped out of the short off one, and then jumped into the long at 90. It's kind of going sideways here. Can't seem to beat 91.5, but I'm looking to get to VWAP on this trade. It's still trend, like Fisker is still trend down since it broke $1, but it bottomed here yesterday and went 5 cents. So I can't see, it's not a bad reason why it might not do it again. And yes, we do see Plug Power making some moves. There was an offering for Plug. It's back toward the high of the day.
Plug Power. Okay, so because, look, first of all, Tesla was a great trade until it left. So I will talk about RIVN. I made one trade. I'm in RIVN right now again, and I just got in right now. So that could be something that we could definitely look at. But we went long Tesla until we lost that 210, and then we got out. So that was a good trade. Now, the other thing here was RIVN. We had a flat trade here, and we might lose again. Lose again. We lost a little bit. We'll see if we can lose again here. I was trying to go short off the 200 period. It did come all the way back down, and we were able to get, so this is short 1608. That was 04. We averaged it in. It came all the way back down. We took some 02s, some 99s, some O's, so that was profitable until eventually it broke 10s. So we're just going to try that trade again. If we can get this back into 6, then yahoo for that one, and we'll be pretty happy with it. So we'll wait to see what we can do right now with RIVN, trying to short this name. Like I said, this stock is down 35% in 2 weeks. I feel like it's an upgrade away from making the move back up, or a downgrade away from getting down to 13 bucks. It's just a matter of what do they want on this stock. Do they want it lower, or are they loaded up enough right now? So I think RIVN still probably needs to get into 13 or 14, but Tesla's just around the corner, baby. Tesla starts tomorrow, Netflix tonight. It should be a big, big earnings season, as the market needs to now put up. Like the market is flying. A lot of these names are going. They're going to need to show us earnings to justify some of these valuations. So let's go. Let's see if it is the case, man. Is Tesla delivering these Cybertrucks? Are they seeing some nice flow through on the redesigned Model 3? Is China having any kind of effect? We're soon going to find out. That's a couple of days, and we'll have it live on the Market Recap Show. And actually, we have Danielle Shea coming on Thursday, so that should be fun.
All right, Rumble and DWAC at the bottom of the list there. As you mentioned, the New Hampshire primary on now, I guess. As far as Digital World Acquisition Corporation is concerned, Rumble. If you missed it after the close yesterday, I was reading a little bit more on this during lunch today. It sounds really cool. A couple of tech announcements from Rumble after the close yesterday when it comes to their own version of essentially YouTube Studio. They'll have the ability to support and add on live real-time ads. So,
amazing.
You know, imagine he used Coke as an example, Coca-Cola, watching the show, going on to Studio, and then a little notification pops up in front of me that says, hey, you have a live ad read from Coca-Cola.
Love it.
Click on the ad read, it pops up, and this segment brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Yeah, no,
that would be cool.
Yeah, it is. That's, I mean, that's thinking definitely outside the box, Brendo. And also, you'll be able to broadcast your stream onto multiple different platforms, the YouTubes, the Twitches, etc. We saw us involved in Rumble Trade, all midday show. The DWAC trade we covered extensively as well, and now I'm seeing that there's an option side to this DWAC trade, Brendo. Apparently yesterday there was about 88,000 contracts bought for DWAC. Comparing that to the regular volume that DWAC does on a day, about 17,000. So some unusual options activity helping buoy the stock.
I would say so. Yeah, no, it's impressive nonetheless. I mean, we were talking in the pre-market on the volume side of things for both.
Yeah.
I think it was 7 million even before the open here for this one too. Rumble back to 7, guys.
Bacardi, Coca-Cola, it gets the job done. You know we like some rum and coke. That's my seg. I didn't trade rum today. That's my segue to rum right there. Because I'm not going to let every single person make the reference of rum this, rum that. It's a tasty trade. It's a tasty drink. Come on now. I got the West Indian blood. For those of you that are into, I like a Zaccapa's a good one. That's tasty. Sometimes you got to go to the islands. English Harbor, where Antigua is where my family's from. That's a pretty good one if you can get their age rum. It's pretty good. But we already talked a little bit of DWAC there. So we opened talking DWAC instead of China. So I'm not going to go over the same thing. If DWAC makes a move, we'll let you know. I've been trading Funware as well. But yeah, rum is a tasty drink. What was up with the trade?
Yeah, Rumble, I'm just tweeting something out right now. Check this stat. Look at this, Brendo and everybody. On this day in 1999, NVIDIA went public. So through the NASDAQ, this dude, Jensen Huang, had at that time worth $59 million. Now his holdings are worth $85.8 billion. Right there. Look what this dude looks like, man. So this was it. You see this, Sharif? Yeah, amazing, eh? So there it is right now, man. 99 problems. Not that year. This dude comes correct. There it is right there. So congratulations, anybody. I remember buying NVIDIA a hell of a long time ago. I don't know. I have to look back to see when. But amazing story there for NVIDIA. And what a great day for shareholders again. Every day, it seems like.
Every day is a good day.
For NVIDIA. But, okay, that's it. Look, the thing about Rumble is, if you're looking for information on something, I mean, says it right here. Rumble, I don't know how to make this any bigger, 540 long. That's what we have right now. Rumble's current price, $7. So not too bad. How did we trade it? Pretty simple. We were long Rumble off the jump. We were long real early in the pre-market, out pretty much at the pre-market highs, and then it made the high and we didn't get out. We're like, oh man. And that's when we put our offer at 630. It's funny because our offer was here right there, but we missed it. We missed that. And the reason why we missed that, hold on a second, off. I just got to change something here. There it is. All right, we missed that just because we never got hit, but we kept our order there and got hit then. Then we reloaded it at 565, kind of in there. Then it just kept on going down. We just missed another bid at $5. Got it, got some out all the way up, then got our 620 finally, and now, as they say, the rest is history, up to 690. So, I mean, all this love for DWAC and all that kind of stuff, the only money made here today was on Rumble. So, good job for Rumble. Thank you, Rumble, for that. that. I feel like we're going to get out at 670 if it does break anywhere lower than this here. So we'll take that $1.30 smooth or whatever on this. If Rumble breaks down, I just don't need to be a part of it. Coming out, 670. It's Rumble, and it's one of the top stocks here. So I'm really happy with it. We're still watching the Qs. We're watching Affirm. And now we got Rumble. So that's about it, man. RIVN doing its thing as well. But a good rundown. We do have Frank Caberna coming up soon. All right. I guess we'll just stay here. I'm just going to cancel Rumble. You guys can see me put this trade in if you want. 669er right now. There it is. We'll put that offer in, and there we go. That's Rumble. Good. Okay, so it will come out at that price. Rumble coming out of the account at 669, possibly breaking back lower than this. So we're almost there right now. Nice little whoosh down. We will be out of this pretty soon, guys. And there it is, and girls. Spin it. We are now out of Rumble. Good trade there. And then our triple Qs is continuing to fall back in a little bit. I think this market could collapse here. Let's try to hold on to this as long as we possibly can for the triple Qs. I do have a bid, though, down here at 421.85, but hopefully that will fill. That's what I'm waiting for, nothing else.
Paulo saying, please ask Caberna to tank the market today. He doesn't move the markets. We just have a pattern that seems to happen every single time at 245. Appreciate the super chat here. Willis Addison again. Appleton's is a good one. Hey, man, I'm not going to hate on Appleton's rum. It's pretty good. I always get some. I've always got a little bit of that at home as well. I am in a short. It is Intel, and I think we mentioned this a couple of times this morning, and then in the afternoon, sorry, in the midday show, I should say, while Sharif and Nadera were going. You have yesterday's high at 48.45, and then it's basically been doing the same top. Although Intel's strong, it's been holding the same levels at this 48.5, so been scalp short, looking for a pullback into VWAP on this name. It's a super strong runner relative to what's been going on with some of the other chip names. And for all those that have been asking about or mentioning SMCI the last couple of sessions, load, there we go. You'll get there in a second. There we go. SMCI did. I'm always asked this question, like, what is a liquidity grab? And so every single chance we get an opportunity to show you what a liquidity grab looks like, this is what I mean. At the open, SMCI is ridiculous. Now, how tradable this is debatable, but look at the double bottom here the last couple of days. Right off of yesterday's low at 410, it dropped 25 bucks and then immediately whipped back. Like the wick on this candle is a $7 wick. Now that's just how SMCI rolls. It's trying to break through a double top. So it bears watching here. NVIDIA 600, we know all about that level. SMCI takes this for, it's like 450 and change. Definitely some, it's not, I wouldn't call it squeeze potential, but it's a flat top break if you look at this the last couple of days on SMCI. Mr. Memes is shorting BABA. I'm looking for the VWAP bounce on BABA. I guess you like this 74 short. I like the dip buy off of VWAP and Alibaba. I've been looking for the longs today on that stock.
All right, just checking some emails. Got to get this all set up. Ramin, we have Chris Brecher tonight from Simpler Trading will come through tonight, so I will message you that. Thanks, Chris, for coming out. We won't have Brian Chen. We'll have Chris. I'm going to talk to him about Netflix earnings, and we'll have a quick little look at any possibilities there. But guests aside, we're going to be looking at all of them earnings as we go, and it should be a fun one. Let me just get this board here. Do we have an earnings preview board? We must. On a day like today, so we'll get that going in a second here. But this is the big one coming. You could see aftermarket close here sorted. Well, once we have it, we could just throw it up. But I just want to show you. I use whatever this is called, Market Chameleon. Of course, we had those big guys today, Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble. Of course, we haven't looked at those once. Texas Instruments and Netflix. After market close. Okay, thank you, Ramin. There it is. So let's have a double check because I need to make the board for tonight, which is what got me thinking about that. Oh, yeah, ASML tomorrow morning. That will be a big one for sure. Other than that, yeah, I can see Texas Instruments. What else we got over there? CN Rails, shout out.
Oh, Canada.
To the rails right there. We'll have a quick look at that tonight as well. And then, yeah, for me, I guess it's ASML. We'll see what happens with them. Freeport McMoran, we've talked a little bit about copper. But, yeah, yeah, man. You know,
I've seen a lot of
always
people
excited. I'm always.
Oh, I'm always, especially when you get chip names. You saw what happened when SMCI came with a guide. You saw what happened to the chip market. When TSM reported, you saw what happened to the chip market. Like, that's where it caused runs. It caused movement. ASML can be that kind of stock. For those that keep talking about LAM and AMAT when they're moving around, ASML, very similar story. Its primary listing is in Amsterdam.
Yes, I believe.
Like, I said that questioningly. I'm like, it's AS, so that's why I should know that better. But this has been on a rally. Daily chart's probably, oh, come on, daily chart. Anyways, it's been on a pretty big rally. Nice little double top for ASML. But this is, I don't think we trade it, but this is one where if it blows things out and it's going to be a 4 or 5% day, then I do not want to be fighting the chips when ASML does their print. So it is one worth watching. It's not necessarily a tradable stock unless you're rolling with options. And even if you are, you got to watch it pretty closely before Europe closes. Let's get to the desk and handle some business.
The rundown is always brought to you by our friends over at Trade Ideas. I saw, Sean, your friend Brian Shannon was going to participate in this as well. Shout out to him. He was tweeting about this. Go check out this tournament, their Go Low tournament that's starting tomorrow. $2,400 available on an Amazon gift card, so why not? Scan the QR code, bottom right corner right now, save 20% on your copy of Trade Ideas.
Yeah, sounds like a great idea. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Good
If you're
deal.
into it, the go low, of course, means you can only go long.
Yes.
Go long.
So you don't want it to go low. You
Right,
want
that
it
was
to
a little
go,
confusing. We got
you want it to go high.
And actually, guys, shout out. We're on LinkedIn as well. We made this nice post here today about the market recap show yesterday where we had Michael Noss on as well yesterday, which was a lot of fun. So go check that out. It's on LinkedIn. And then we also, I mean, we're just doing the work, man. We're doing this all our damn self right here. Shout out to my wife. We're also put this out here as well. Just go over, if you want to see what we talked about, shout out to Bears versus Bulls. Maybe I'll put this in the chat myself right here. Go have a quick little read, because yesterday in the recap show, we talked about UAL, we talked about Zion Bank, we talked about Tesla, we talked about Bitcoin, we talked about Ethereum. We're giving trade ideas over and over again every single time, and we are bringing the heat, man. We're having a lot of fun on that show. It's the best market recap show, period, available. So go out there, have a quick look at it, and of course, we're going to continue to promote it because we're putting in the work and we're putting in the time. So go support that, and we'll be on there tonight. And it only runs Monday to Thursday, because then I got to do the podcast with Brendo on Friday. So Monday to Thursday, and make sure you do check out the podcast, which we had our best podcast, I feel like, last one, and we'll have a better one this coming week as well. So make sure you join all that fun on your Saturday morning.
Or whenever you choose to.
Yeah. You should watch it
busy
immediately.
Saturday morning. You know, if you
Look
some
at that
people
out
you
on
like
Rumble.
that Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening for a lot of traders is like, let's get ready for it kind of moment. You're sort of chilling. There's less football around, so you can watch that. Be careful here for anyone trading DWAC. It's actually got a bit of a heavy bid. So starting to roll back over into VWAP. Maybe you can bounce off to 50 level, but it's starting to give up that ghost. I want to note, SoFi, they don't report till Monday morning actually. So bright and early next week. The big earnings week starts off with SoFi Monday morning. Triple bottom, not just yesterday's bottom, but now a triple bottom here on SoFi at 770. It's like 773, 72 here, and then 773 here. If it can't hold this, I do worry this could make a bit of a late push to the downside. If the market does want to flush, that's kind of a flat bottom break setting up here on SoFi. I like SoFi. I don't want the stock to go down, but you can see under some pressure, down 2%. Not really any catalyst that I'm aware of, just looking relatively weak. And look at it, it just rejected the same high. Clean double top. Like, if you're watching a chart like this on SoFi, if you think, oh, that 830, yeah, but it's only bounced there once. That's not big resistance. Like, look at the daily chart on this sucker as well. Like, it's showing you lower highs. Like, there's your stair step down. And then it shows you the double top, at least until earnings. If 850 held for like 4 days in a row and then it went down, why not this 830 level? If I see that again tomorrow, shouldn't miss it.
All right, guys, here we go, man. We are him right here on this stock. Finally, RIVN, finally starting to come in a little bit here. So good trade. We'll see if it can hold. We just took that fill. And we did say, okay, I went over because I saw again the net starting to blast up a little bit here, and all of a sudden the Qs were down, and I was like, wait a second, where's my bid? And we did have a bid at 85, whatever I said, but then I just noticed that the 200 periods here at 89, so we missed it. Stupid me. I'm now at 92. Let's see if it can come back in one more time right now. So it's been a big day here today, and a lot of it is because of this Qs trade. So all is well, man, on that one, and we're pretty happy with the performance of the trades today. We may have to get out of a firm. It's 250 in the money. If you want to talk about real trading, I mean, let's go right here. Face slap around. This is one trade off VWAP. Talk about Brian Shannon. We had that move on a firm right there. Never went against us, and blam to the downside right now. I might get this out at 42.50. So let's see if we can hold this. I mean, 42.50, we only have a piece on. It's not that important. About 20% on. 42.50, if it takes it, we're going to get out there. So again, another good one. I canceled my stop, but my stop on this Affirm trade was a break of 45. So that's 20 cents. So right now we're in the money $2.64. So this is like almost a 15-to-1 trade right there. So we're going to have to, watch out for that. 42.50, the newest position for me to get out here on Affirm. So that's just something that we'll wait for. RIVN, let's let this continue to move. Hopefully we'll get in. Well, we got an O1 fill there. Okay, so there it goes. We got another one, and I believe we're bidding O's, right? So here we go. We are also bidding O's to the downside. This is going to be another big trade, hopefully, especially if RIVN does crack through this 16. Maybe we can revisit the bottom again right here, man. We'll be lifting trophies. It's been a good day. We're really, really happy. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, which doesn't happen to me often in the afternoon. You guys know that I tend to give a little bit back in the afternoon trying to chase that dream, but we're not doing that today, man. We'll sit on our hands. We just should have taken out the Qs, but we are taking out more RIVN as that name goes into the green after we did take a hit there early, but we did get it back, and now let's see if RIVN still wants to hold Zeus.
I just asked Brennan what was going on with Meta. If he found anything,
Yeah.
nothing major is still the story. It just broke the low and is continuing lower. So Meta, it's barely even green anymore. This was again one of the strongest stocks in the market. It closed at 381.78. So this is pretty much it trying to bounce off the low of the day. Kind of a wild thing to happen here for Meta, but that's now $5 without any kind of, there's one little bounce, and then it just continues to trend into the downside here. If you are looking for some strength, it has been over in Apple. The wicks on the Apple chart sometimes are a little bit painful, but it has been holding around VWAP there. I like this one. This was where we were long off of the 194 level. I don't think we see that again, dark pools notwithstanding. VWAP is trying to hold. If we do get a late day rally, I like Apple to the long side off of VWAP here. I am probably going to take a shot at Meta though. As long as there's no news here, which I'm not seeing anything, it looks like it's making a bit of a bid through the 382, the previous close 381.78. Don't always like catching a falling knife. Forget about VWAP. If this even just gets back into like the 83.5, 84, I think that can be good. Intel just came out at 48.50, so that just broke to the upside. In a market which is doing nothing, you've got to find the outliers. Meta is one of them.
Yeah, damn it. All right, so we found something here, maybe. I don't know. We're waiting to see about the Qs. It sucks that we just missed that fill, man. That was a spicy one. We probably should have had it, but we didn't. So that kind of sucks. But we do miss that fill there on the Qs down there at 90s. Thankfully for us, we have 10% left. We don't have a very big piece. I mean, we kept on getting out every time it came back, and we tried to hold for the dream. Oh, actually, you know what? I did not put out that Affirm trade. It's only 238. We have Frank coming in just a little bit. I think it's down to like 46% for the rate cut happening, so it may not happen at all coming forward for the next opportunity there. Hold on a second. In the market moving forward for January 31st. I have to get this Affirm trade out because I'm stumbling right now. 42.51. Let me just put it out. I just want to make sure that we have it. It's nowhere near being worried about. RIVN, I'm looking at that. We just took some nether fills at O's. So I'm a little bit, if you can't tell, a little distracted here. So we'll just continue to look out for those trades. Rivian, Qs, and Affirm. So I guess they're all kind of where they need to be. We are reloading our Qs trade. I still think the market wants to go downside. I don't know. I mean, if we can get an opportunity to short the Qs up here and try to make this happen one more time, then we'll be part of that. But yeah, right now it's not like looking the greatest. So we'll hold on for that. We do have another offer for the Qs at 422.54, and I have a bid now at 15. So hopefully that will fill, and we'll get that 15, and then we'll work on it from there. Am I reloading Rumble? Why? Where's Rumble right now? Oh, VWAP? Okay.
What the heck?
Wow, look at that drop on Rumble, man. I was going to say, wow. Pretty happy that we took advantage of that. That's for sure. Like, we just got out right there, down to 670. Yeah, I mean, VWAP is a great level. So thanks for asking that. And you guys are learning more and more and more, man. I just want to say a big shout out. Who was that asked, first of all? Yeah, Yannick. Yo, what's up, Yannick? I mean... yeah, shout out to you. That's a great look there, and congratulations for kind of finding that. That's a good look there on Rumble. I'm not going to reload it, but as I said, I don't have any loss from top right now, so I'm just going to hold off and wait for that trade. Let's let it settle down a little bit at VWAP and not just try to catch it here. What's up, Bree?
Just reading a memo here, guys, from Boeing that just came out. Boeing telling suppliers it's imperative they meet quality requirements, including properly tightening bolts. That's again, that was actually dated January 17th, January 22nd. Boeing says there has been no change to the 737 supplier master schedule. So it doesn't look like anything significant there, but a couple of comments or posts just coming through there from Boeing.
Okay, well, I mean, even though it was nothing significant, there was a significant move in Boeing. Like, it still went $3,
yeah,
$2.50, which is a full percentage point at plus, top to bottom. But if it's not significant, then looking for the continuation long. Nothing Brennan said suggests to me Boeing breakout. Normally, if there was any juice to that, I'd be looking for the long right here, like previous resistance turning into support. But unfortunately, that looks like it's a bit of a nothing burger. Meta just came back in. Enter too fast. Boeing's a New York stock. Meta's NASDAQ. Got the consolidation here. If it breaks and cannot hold green, which it's barely green on the day to the downside, we just get out looking for this 384. All it has to do is get back into that 384 level, and it'll be looking pretty good. CLH moving. What else is going? I mean, that's not really moving that much. The volume on CLH, load. Why is it still Meta? There we go. CLH, the volume on this one, pretty light, not even close to what it was in the afternoon for something breaking out the high of the day. But it is a bit of a mover, so it's worth keeping our eyes on here. No chance at that BABA. Well, I want to know how that short's going, because the 74, we got gravity toward the 74 level on BABA. At some point, you got to give up the ghost of getting this VWAP pullback in Alibaba. We still have an hour to go. But we're running out of time if we're looking for the dip buy in Alibaba. Not going to happen just yet. And DWAC, thoughts on DWAC? It's popping off of VWAP. If it gets back and fails around 55, 56, then short funnelware in front of 46 is my plan of action. I think you're playing the 50 level on DWAC. You're playing VWAP here. The spread is pretty gigantic on that. I'd rather scalp trade Funware anytime this makes a significant move. So if this pops up and shows resistance in the mid-50s, I think you just sort of fade the other one. New position, obviously, Meta. See if it can hold that low. If I see news comes in and there's actually a reason why Meta's down, it takes out the lows and we just get out.
I can never figure out what CL contract we want. January? No. Okay, I'm just going to go to USO. All right, so USO right here. Just hearing... I hate to report negative news and stuff like that, but there's some drone strikes in Yemen. It doesn't seem to be I just wanted to go over to oil. It's to see if there is something there. It does not look like there's anything, so that's good. I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention in case people were looking at that. Does not appear to be too much happening. All right. Occidental moving? Not really. Let's check out if Netflix is doing anything heading into the report tonight. 489, kind of just chilling out. You know what, I'm going to get that options AI program again. I know that we had that. Neil was showing us the implied move.
I thought they went paid.
Yeah, maybe it did go paid, but we'll try to find it. I believe the implied move here is about 6 or 7% for Netflix. So we'll do a good job. I'll do a job anyways. I don't know if it's going to be a good one, and try to find out for you where that is. So I'm going to go find that, and we do have Mr. Frank Caberna ready to rock and roll.
Pump it. There he is, yeah, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Back with us once again for a look at what is happening in inflation land, in interest rate land, Frank, as we've been discussing over the past couple of weeks. We're at a point where, you know, it seems like, and I even said this to Sharif this morning, it seems like when we get these longer stretches between significant either releases or events like the FOMC coming up next week, the market kind of doesn't know what to do, and it doesn't really know where to look, and is a little bit, you know, all over the place as a result. But there was some important comments, I think, from the Bank of Japan, is where I'm going with this, overnight, that could affect not only what happens the rest of this week with the U.S. dollar, but did initially have the dollar downside today. But we did see quite the reversal, as I mentioned, at 2 o'clock when we came back on. But some hawkish comments, I think, coming from the Bank of Japan.
And I think you're exactly right that when we get in these periods of like nothing actually changing, but a lot of talk and a lot of rumors, it can be some of the best environments for range-bound traders, because the market, doesn't know necessarily where to go. And the Bank of Japan's a great example of exactly this, because we jumped on weeks ago, and the Bank of Japan rumored to finally hike this interest rate that's been at its lowest in 50 years for the last several years. Now it's been at negative 10 basis points going back the last handful of years, and it's been around zero really since the 90s, as you can see. And obviously this correlates pretty directly to Japan's status as a major economic power, kind of moving lower as well, not necessarily dropping off the face of the earth, but just they've been trending lower relative to the US and Euro area and the UK over the course of the last several years. And to your point, though, Brennan, they were talking about hiking that rate off of negative 10 basis points a couple of months ago, and we saw a huge influx of yen demand and dollar weakness coming off of that. But they never did anything. And then there's also been more Japanese economic data points and Japanese news stories that would speak to kind of the antithesis of that, continued weakness of that Japanese economy. And they came out last night and said essentially all you would need to say for a hawkish meeting. But again, they didn't change anything. And so you saw the initial knee-jerk reaction of upside in yen, but then inevitably the sellers came in and the buyers for US dollar came in with the idea that nothing has changed from the Japanese side. And where I think we're going with this, nothing's changed from the US side quite yet. And in fact, they're getting closer and closer to really nothing changing, not only here in January, but maybe March as well.
Yeah, and that leads us to our next point here. With we're down to 44. I'm actually a little bit surprised with this. We're down to 44% that there's going to be a quarter point coming in March. As we've talked about, you know, many times over the past few weeks here, that was as high as 85, I think, or 86 was the top, and it just continues to march its way down. That being said, is it June? Is it, you know, Q3? I saw some analysts and economists talking about going back to the end of last week. So basically a coin flip here on what's going to happen coming up in March now even.
Yeah, absolute craziness in the interest rate price action because it's essentially the same story as Bank of Japan, but turned on its head. You know, we've had 5% interest rates now for almost a year, will be a year, midway point of this year, and everyone expecting that rate cut to come. And it was as high as 88% exactly a month ago, actually. 88% chance of a 25 basis point cut. We looked at it on Thursday of last week, and it was about a 50 to 55% chance of a cut. Now under 50% chance of a cut in March. Now, is this the only meeting ever for the FOMC? Of course not. They've got, I believe it is 5 or 6 more meetings throughout the remainder of the year after March. And of course, we're not even to the first meeting of the year in January, but has been a common theme in recent years, that markets are moving off of not only what's coming this week or next week, but months down the line. But anyways, Brendan, I kind of backed into this idea, and I wanted to get your opinion on it because, okay, it's not the end of the world if they price out that rate cut in March. There are future meetings and everything else, but the market's still pricing in between 4 and 6 rate cuts for the remainder of the year. And of course, they can cut by 50 basis points if they need to. They don't want to. Historically, Brennan, after the March meeting, if they don't cut there are, like I say, only 5 or 6 meetings the remainder of the year. And I think it might just be 5 after that March meeting. I mean, it's becoming a bigger and bigger deal, I think, that these rate cuts slip away as they run out of potential meetings in the remainder of the year to cut this 4 to 6 times that the market thinks. And I still have in the back of my mind that Fed dot plot saying that we're only going to cut 2 to 3 times, depending on what central banker you asked. And if they don't do it, it's very obviously very, very unlikely for January. It's becoming unlikely for March. And then you start to look onto the next remainder of 5 or 6 meetings. I mean, they're going to have to cut every meeting for the remainder of the year, or 150 basis point cut here or there to get what the market is thinking at 4 to 6 cuts here in 2024. I mean, do you look at that timeline and think, man, this is starting to look unsustainable? And we haven't really seen a reaction in stocks off of this, which isn't to say there needs to be, but the crowd that's thinking, 100 to 150 basis points of cuts, if they don't in March, then that sets the Fed on what'll have to be a very aggressive rate cutting path for the remainder of 2024.
I think, and we've been down this road before, but I think, the bigger point is that the market has said inflation's over, everything's fine, let's get on with life, essentially, hence all-time highs across the board. Where we get to and how we get there remains to be seen, obviously, or when even we get to, 3.75 on this chart that you brought with you, and that's going out to December of this year, but 3.75, the highest on here. So yeah, a lot of work to do. But I think the bigger point here for not only active participants in the market and investors across the board is equities at least have said this is no longer a problem and let's move on.
Yeah, and I guess that's exactly my point, is that they're pricing out this March piece, but in December of this year, that's 150 basis points lower than where we currently are. We're at 5.25, and that's 375, like you say. And if they're cutting in 25 basis point increments, that's 6 cuts. That would be every meeting between March and the end of the year, which would be quite aggressive. You would almost need an economic event. You would almost want inflation to print under 2% to warrant the Fed to start cutting so aggressively. And yeah, you wonder if at some point, the 4, 5, 6 rate cuts that, like you say, the stock market and so many other markets are feeling good about, if that starts to price out not only of interest rate markets, but with stocks and everything else. Because, you're seeing US dollar strength. Like you say, a hawkish Bank of Japan meeting, you saw the yen buying emerge, but that dollar market is strengthening like there's not going to be so many rate cuts. So we're at a really interesting point where you have the stock market at all-time highs. And of course, a lot of that has to do with the single stocks outperforming in earnings and everything else. Of course, it has a lot to do with that, but it also has a lot to do with the 6 rate cuts that are priced in. And if it slips away here in March, and then it slips away maybe in the next meeting, and inflation in the US hangs around 3 to 4%, which isn't threatening, but it's not 2%, then at some point, do we see a more violent move in interest rates, and then stocks really start to come along with that piece? It'll be really interesting. But thankfully, we've got in the short term so many events coming up that'll help decipher which market is correct. Is the Fed correct? Is the interest rate market correct? Or are stocks right to be at all-time highs. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a great point in that, and we even talked about this going back a month or two ago. They went up so aggressively. Is the way that they come back down going to have to, match that or be in the same pace to get us back to where we are? But volatility is volatility depending on what market you're looking at. You hinted at this, but let's talk what else is to come before we get the FOMC going out to next week. A couple of key data points here, and I like how you phrase this in the sense, will it be Europe or maybe even Canada? Not yet, but that ends up cutting first versus the U.S.
Yeah, I don't think it's likely to be Canada, even though you do have the rate decision on Wednesday. We'll get to that in a second. If it's going to be anyone to cut first, it seems like the Euro area or maybe in Australia, someone in there would be the first, because the data has been relaying that fact. And it's so interesting. And it's another point that today's theme is kind of like talk is one thing, but actual action or fundamental changes is what might move the market to more drastic extent. The ECB's December meeting was absolutely by everyone interpreted as much more hawkish and conservative than the Fed's, and you saw that euro really strengthen going into the end of the year. And then you see euro area economic data releases that are kind of pointing in the opposite direction. Sub 3% inflation, and the ECB in their December meeting said that they're expecting an average inflation in 2024 of around 2.7%. They're already printing 2.4, 2.8, 2.9% the last couple of months. And so if they don't see a resurgence in some of their economic data, or they see their inflation go to 2% or lower, or their GDP growth maybe sinks a little bit, they might be cutting faster than the US. And I think a lot of people thought in the Forex realm, oh, well, the US dollar has been strengthening on US economic relative strength. And now it's going to be the relative weakest part of the global economy. And man, I mean, the US dollar is strengthening for a reason the first couple of weeks of this year, because I think people are starting to maybe believe that you might see weakness in the euro area or in, like I say, Australia, or, Japan's already at negative 10 basis points, but who's to say that their data has to point in the positive direction moving forward? It'll be really interesting. And yeah, we have that ECB meeting coming up. I believe it's Thursday morning here, and some US data as well. You've got the PCE on Friday. It's looking to be a pretty eventful rest of the week, especially for people in interest rate markets, Forex markets, as you've got the Bank of Canada meeting on tomorrow morning. That'll obviously be very, very interesting. But Canada has been pretty aligned with the US, 5% interest rates, some of the highest globally, and economic data that's been pretty correlated to the US as well. That ECB meeting is going to be really, really interesting for not only Euro markets, but Forex markets at large. And I think that'll give an indication as to what the US is thinking as well. And then finally, that PCE is going to be much more straightforward and direct on Friday morning as to whether these rate cuts are going to start happening as soon as March, or are they going to get pushed out, and how many of them are there going to be? And that expectation, I believe, for the PCE inflation rate will be in the mid threes. And so a print higher than expected might take out some of those rate cuts and take out some of that stock market upside we've seen over the course of the last month or so. And an under print on that inflation might be reason for pricing those rate cuts back in for March, and some further upside for that stock market. Not that it needs it, I guess.
Yeah, I was just double checking here. 3.1% actually expected for that core, wow. Specifically the core print for December PCE. The headline number 2.7. So, I mean, as we've seen over the past couple, with that 2 handle on it already. So what are we even talking about? I guess it's more, and as we've said, when, not if, but it seems to be being pushed down the road a little bit. Just circling back to that Bank of Canada note coming up on Wednesday this week, we did get that inflation print going back a week ago in this country that was a little bit higher than I think anyone was expecting across the board. So probably definitely not going to be, this meeting for the Bank of Canada that they move. But yeah, as you said, ECB and then the PCE on Friday. And then we're we're already in the quiet period, but FOMC to come next week. I'm sure we'll touch on that and more coming up on Thursday. Frank Caberna, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brennan.
You, Frank, and you guessed it, 245. It's not a huge move in the market, but the market didn't go down. That's for sure. We just actually pressed the 17.5. The NASDAQ's only 0.2 to the upside, so I'm just going to quickly show you here.
Took out day's high.
We did. The overnight highs are still there. But yeah, the day's high, 100%. The day's high got taken out by about 5 or 6 handles. So there was a move up. It wasn't gargantuan or anything, but it is heading higher. Plug did break the high of the day. I'm in it now on that top break and Plug. It got up and tagged the 70 level after breaking 65. So there's a double top on Plug. Let's see how far it can go. And then I also noted Intel. I'm not in Intel to the long side. So Intel reversed off that resistance that was the short level. It's just stair-stepping to the upside. If the market does accelerate here, why can't Intel go to 49? Look at how it just rejected 48 and a half over and over and over again. I thought I'd go, I said in the chat, first available dip on Intel, there just hasn't been a dip yet. Since making that breakout, but looking to catch something in front of that 48.50. And SMCI, that made the break. It went a couple of dollars, but I didn't have that one. It broke and went like $3 or $4. So if you took that high of the day break on SMCI, it would have worked for you. Just remember the spread's kind of crazy. So it's always hard to figure out what you can capture when a $2 move happens and the spread's like 50 cents. You might only make half that.
Yeah, I had no idea what kind of a crack show it was trading the Qs, man. Oh my God. This is a hell of a lot of fun. I think I'm going to be trading this a lot more. Wow. You just go in the money almost so fast, and he goes out of the money so fast. You definitely got to have your spots, but I like it. I like it a lot. So this is going to be a lot of fun here, hopefully moving forward, trading the futures and the triple Qs. We're going to get stopped out if it takes out the high again, but just watching out for this, it's right up my alley for scalping and stuff. So good opportunities on the Qs. I'm glad that we're trading it right now. Even if we wind up losing it, man, I just took the short there, 75. Here we go. I'm bidding set. There we go. Getting out more 76s. This one for me. Hopefully, I can have diamond hands on what we have left. We still have some left, obviously. We still have a big piece left, actually. But wow, this is really fun to trade. Here we go. Come, bring it back down. And look at, we got stopped out once, but look at all of these scalps. We got hit there on that move up, but then we went short again. It's really. Trading's not easy, and this is definitely hard. Trading the futures is not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but this is just such a quick one right here. And despite even getting taken out right there, we put this right back in, and there it goes. Great trading here on the Qs. We don't have any LFT right now, and if this one can tank, then we'll be pretty happy with that. So let's see if it gets back down in. RIVN. Wow, RIVN. While we were gone, again, a bunch of outs here at the 200 period. So we have about 25%. I'd like to hold a little bit more for RIVN on that, and then my out for the Qs. Now let's see if we can get something back into the 40s here on the triple Qs. Wow. Look at this. Man, oh man, do we like trading today, boys. This is a nice move here. Nicely done. This is... Ooh, what's up, man? You refer to the Qs with futures. The triple Qs are the NASDAQ 100, right? So there it is right there. Thank you for the question. But we're still here, baby. This is a lot of fun. I hope you guys are doing well there today. Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to everybody. You got to be having fun. If you're a Boeing shareholder, it's a good thing that we found out that was a nothing burger on the news, because Boeing is now accelerating. Boeing is now accelerating to the downside. It went from breaking out to the upside when Brennan came with the story to it now flushing through 212. The market's going up and it's going down. We're probably not going to get that fill. Let's get away from there. It broke the flat bottom here. You're down 1.5%. you have lots of room. You had a double bottom the last 2 days at around 209, so I think you have a lot of room to go. I do like this off this 212 level. It's not even finding a bid. The market was just breaking higher when all of a sudden Boeing fell all over itself. So I want to see the short back into the previous bottom. That's 212.50. If it gets back above 212, I'll look for the entry and then give it back into that 212.50 level. Boeing, had it been really good news, I probably would have tried to join this long when you had the flash news like that. Instead, Boeing decided it wants the other thing. Like, it chose pain on Boeing.
Yeah, I choose. I try not to choose pain on there. I'll just choose. Relaxing right now. Yeah, we actually got out. So the Qs trade was beautiful. A couple outs there at 50 again. I'm just scalping this. So like I said, basically know your damn role. Shout out to The Rock again. And I'm just going to wait.
Newly found board member of
newly found board member of TKO, which I said, look, I haven't looked at TKO all day. I thought that it had a good chance to fail off of that 94 area. So I'm gonna have a quick look in a second on TKO and see what we're at. Oh, wow, okay, so we did it again on that one. Big move for TKO to the downside off that open. Oh man, we're gonna have a bad wicks here, but look at that. Up there 98, all the way down to 86. Congratulations if anybody sort of did not believe in that move. I couldn't understand why it was up that high. It's a good deal for them, obviously, but then I don't know if they're going to get more or less viewers because they're on Netflix. I don't know. But again, a nice move upside there. I really like to invest in this name possibly. I mean, that 75 bottom was pretty sweet. Obviously, you'd had to have known about this news in order to get long. But again, bouncing off that bottom looks pretty sweet. But there it is, man. Pretty much as thought. Didn't think that it needed to be up there, but we should have looked at it. You can think whatever you want. If you don't trade it, it doesn't really matter. $94 right there. Could have looked at it if I believed in it, and that's what I mean. I was just a thought. TKO spread not too bad.
Where was the bounce? Let's see.
It didn't really bounce. Like 87, it's kind of just hovering there.
Oh my goodness.
Bounce on the upside on the 200 period, but.
Yeah, that's right at previous resistance. That's the thing. Like, zoom out to the daily chart on this thing.
Yeah.
It goes right into the previous resistance level. That's 87 to 88. Like, the thing about this stock is you look at like the wicks and all that stuff. Like. So it bounces off 87. The initial bounce was off 88. Look at that. That's right off the first level of support. Yeah, I should have really looked at that stock. Because when you're filling the gap back in, look to previous support turning into resistance. Or the other way around. In this particular case, it's resistance turning into support. I did jump into Boeing on the way back. Got 12.20s. So risk about 40 pennies on that one. Now that it's calmed down, maybe I can find a level to work off of instead of just going exactly what I was talking about with TKO, previous support and turning into resistance. Let's see if it can hold out a little bit better. Fund's still holding the breakout, but it's not really screaming to the upside. And Intel, I said first available dip. I'm sitting at 66. It went to 67. So Intel's still strong, man. Like, it's up at 70s here, 75s, and continuing to rally. I got to get involved in this one. So maybe I'll get something at the 70 level. See if we can't pick that one up. Funware on that break of the high of the day. That's still plug. Funware. Plug. Funware's not doing anything. Plug on that break of the high of the day. The way you can tell that's a dark pool wick, A, I know it is, but B, because no one actually gets filled when it travels through those prices. I'm on the offer. I just got 70s. I have a 75 order as well, a 73 order. As plug on the offering, I think it was, what did we say? It was 305? $3.05, I think, was the offer.
Yeah, it was 304. I'm going to say 04, but.
Yeah, that sounds right. It was a weird number, so it was probably 04. But up 30%. Remember, plug power is heavily shorted. 30% short float for plug power, and it's up 30% on the day. If you look at the daily chart, the 50 period sits at $4. So I think that's reasonable. If it gets to 4, I think you want to get out of it. I don't know why I have a line. I drew a trend line on this apparently at some point that I don't necessarily need. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to move it. Let's just delete the line. I don't need it. So plug power heads to $4. I definitely want out. I'll be out before it gets to that price as it continues to churn higher. You know what's interesting? We mentioned Snowflake on this breakout and then never went back to it.
Yeah, I didn't look at Palantir today. I looked at it in the morning and didn't.
I'm going to guess. Well, I haven't looked at Palantir, but if Snowflake's up 3% and it just broke out this 03 today, which that was pretty good, and held VWAP, and it's going again. Palantir must not be having a bad day. But certainly a good look there for Snow. Y Brothers United, plug is Benzinga's top pick for a short squeeze. That can't hurt.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you have a short float of over 20 to 25%, I guess you're on a short list for everyone's top pick for a squeeze name. Yeah, that's
I mean, there must be some reasons behind
no,
it.
I'm sure there's more
Yeah.
to it. Like, I'm not making, to me, like, what difference does it make? Like, it's just, it was a double top that it broke out, and it happens to have a short flow, and it's been grinding higher. Like, that's the reason I'm
Grinding.
wrong. Whether or not this is actually the big short squeeze of the whatever. I just got rid of this trend line. Okay, that's a little weird.
All right, guys. Thank you for all the support there. You know, the Qs is going to be the #1 stock here today, and I just lost on it the last part. Like, I know this is why I don't trade futures, because it's so hard to scalp the individual contracts. But as long as you, you know, move around a little bit, you can trade the Qs for me anyways. I'm going to continue to be here. So thank you for all the nice talk there in the chat about finally someone on the show is trading futures. I trade TQQ and stuff, but I'm going to start looking at the actual Qs. So I have it sort of set up here on some scanners, and we're going to start to do that moving forward a little bit more because you guys ask and we'll deliver. So that's what we're going to do right there for you. Look a little bit more trading at futures. I will, and then I mean, as long as we're able to find a pattern and be able to make a little bit of money doing it as well, we'll for sure do it. But again, you know, I'm not going to just put some trades out to lose just because. All right, 42.50 right there. Hopefully we'll be able to find a little bit of an area for support here on a firm. We've talked about getting out at 42.50 before. It's going to come out again if it does come there. Hey man, it's a $2.50 winner. This is why I can't leave equities, but we will still continue to do that. Yeah, perhaps, Piper, I could do some lessons sometimes. Perhaps I could do a market recap show and a podcast. But we're doing lessons every day on the show. So Neil has the real deal. And then in the middle of the day as well, we have Learn to Trade with, and that's all lessons with Adara and Sharif.
Well, as a matter of fact,
So you can find that.
like they're coming up with those, you know, they're coming up with the lessons every single week to what the theme is going to be. Like if you guys, the show is for you guys. If there's a specific topic that you want covered, you should ask for it, and then we'll see if we can get that done. I'm open to that. Like, I'll take any request when I pop on at 12.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter to me. The market's willing to teach you something every single day. So all you got to do is be ready to learn it. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, just let us know pretty much every single day. UVXY is moving. I haven't looked at UVXY in a while. Good thing we got out of Boeing. There's nothing. Again, there hasn't been any big news. They've wicked the top and the bottom. I'm only in Funware and First Solar, FSR. Fisker's not doing much of anything. So the long off the bottom when it comes to Fisker, well, probably there's no reason to get out. And this is one of those things where, whoops, it's a New York stock. It's one of those things where it might not be moving, but it's holding the support level. So I have scalped some out. It's pretty simple. If it breaks the low, you get out of the trade. If it happens to bounce up, then we'll get more scalp trading up. But Funware looks a little bit better. Why is the SPY ripping right now? I don't know, because Frank came on.
Yeah, duh.
Well, it's always interesting when it's like, why is X happening? So if you're wondering like why you get this move to the upside, here, Microsoft is breaking the high of the day. Thank you, Darkpool Wick. Apple's approaching the high of the day. So like the first answer for me is, okay, well, look at what Apple and Microsoft are doing. One of those two is probably breaking out. Microsoft is the one that's breaking out between the two. So it looks like they're dragging them to the upside. Probably worth going over to Microsoft. I'll get rid of this wick. The high was at 398.30, and you've got some room to that 400 level. Maybe we make a run at the 400 level. 398 looks like a pretty decent entry, though, for Microsoft.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't looked at too much there. We are out of our queues. We talked about that. Not great. Not happy with it. Well, super happy with it. And our firm's about to come out as well. Let's look at NEO. So NEO's heading to the downside. We did warn of that stock a little bit as well on that kind of a move. there today. Oh, I can't even see it because it's not there. Affirm's out. That's a good trade for Affirm. All right, so there we go. So we still, now we're pretty much at the highest spot, like we said, all day, as we'll wait to see what's now happening with our trades. Okay, NIO, nice bounce off 617 if you like it. Might be worth something to look at there, 617 for NEO as a bottom pick. Tesla, just real quick. 210. Again, we know that we have Tesla earnings coming up quite soon in Thursday. Today is going to be Netflix trading day, so we'll wait to see if we can get any sort of love on that aftermarket. Implied move 6 or 7% on Netflix. NFLX. Okay, back up to 490. Still waiting to see about that level there, 492.50. What time is it? 3:14. Okay, so we are into power hour right now. We have to find stuff that's moving. And I'm not going to sit there and trade Netflix. I don't have too much interest in doing that today against those levels. So we'll wait to see if it comes back in a little bit just because of earnings. I was sitting there on UAL during the earnings call, and yeah, like this happened, we get filled and then it ripped back up and I got out once it broke a little bit there. So sometimes can be a little bit difficult trading some of these plays. So let's just be careful with all of that. And that would be Netflix, of course, and UAL on watch. Out of Affirm, maybe AMC. Meta was the one that was really doing a lot of the dancing, right?
SMCI is breaking the high.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Why don't we go over some chip names because why not? These names continue to be pretty hot.
Oh, come on. Load. There we go. SMCI just broke the highs. Well, you mentioned Meta. Hold on to that one. That actually, it worked off that to 83, and then it did get to 85. So Meta is recovering pretty nicely. It ended up being that bottom, so it's continuing to go. I just got into Intel, by the way, as it looks to continue its march into that 49 even level. If anything, Meta actually looks like a bit of a fade. It's SMCI that's, I suppose, going. Like, here's your breakout. It's continuing. It's actually decent enough volume here after holding that 450 level on the way back. So that looks pretty decent. The problem with, I guess, hunting longs is tight stops, man. Like this is, in the afternoon, 8 times out of 10, I'd be looking for short entries off there. It's just a matter of what's setting up for short. That's why I just said Meta off VWAP could be something. I know SoFi's been weak today. I might look at, but SoFi's not at VWAP. So SoFi's not really setting up all that well. There's got to be something which is at a level when the futures are at the high that I like for a fade trade. Generally, you're going to find something. What about Micron? Micron was weak today, so I'll jump over to them. I was short Micron. Okay, right here. All right, Micron 87.70s at local high. So I'll look for like a 60 short. Because if the futures fail the top, then I want something to the south side. Because then you can pull back in, maybe head all the way down into the low of the day. So a strong stock, I want to be trying to buy dips, give it some pullback, but I want to be shorting something that's weak. You're down 2% today on Micron. Not even sure the reason why Micron's so weak. Oh, wait a minute, I do remember why Micron's so weak. Because this, for the last year, has been resistance on Micron, and it wicked out the top today, or yesterday. So pulling back in is Micron. We'll go short here. Carter saying GME short. Well, GameStop's probably always the short, but you need a reason to go short. I have absolutely no reason. Like, why are we?
Is that today?
Well, that's today already.
Look at that. What about a flat bottom break, baby?
Well, it has to happen.
Has to happen, but I mean, it's something to look at.
Why do I? Every time I see this, I'm like, why do I have a line drawn at 14.35 on GameStop?
I'm surprised your lines are staying.
No, but I know why. It's right here. It's back in August 25th. There's a bottom, and then it broke that bottom and turned into resistance, but I should have gotten rid of that. It's not significant anymore. But it's weird, because sometimes the line will go away when I'm trying to get rid of it. We'll go line, edit, remove, and then I'll hit the save button. But yeah, GameStop breaks the low. That looks pretty solid. I'd be with you on that. You break 14.05, I mean maybe 14 even, and go for the short, down 5%. I bet you AMC's having a rough day too.
Someone was saying AMC. Ooh, I just won 2,000 points on Streamlabs. All right, so I have.
Oh God, AMC.
I have a trade. Is it down 2?
No, but look at the daily chart.
When are they reporting? Because sometimes these trades will get real spicy heading into earnings.
Why don't you be short the stock every single day?
Yeah. Affirm. You know, that's the short every day. I just spin that. I'm out of Affirm. That's been pretty much a hot stock for a minute. Okay, so short flow on AMC 12. I was only calling this up to find out the earnings date. It's hell of a long time away, man. Feb 27. So we're not worried about that. Then the other name that had my computer doing this again. GME. Okay, no, everything's fine. GME's reporting dates. Why can't I see it on here? I guess they don't have it. Is this it right? No, the 23rd. No, that's today. I don't see earnings date, so it's not here for GME. So we'll wait to see when that does report. So that's GME. I did want to talk about Meta. I actually, so the only thing that I was seeing that was setting up, and the reason I'm like a little about it, is like I want to short into here. So if we can come up, we'll short like 75, then we'll short 85, and then we'll get out if it breaks through VWAP. So the thing about this is the reason why I go, I thought the futures were actually pulling back a little bit more than they were. I don't think it's right necessarily to go short right here on names that aren't working short. So
according to this, there is no. I went to like a couple of sites, and one said there has been no date provided at one of them, and the other one was blank. So it's possible we don't know when they report for GameStop.
I feel like they surprised us last time. There was something about GameStop last time, man, that was surprising. I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was something there where they came out. Did they come out early? They're always in the morning. I know that much, but
yeah,
okay.
That I remember. They usually
Anybody
report
has
in the morning.
any ideas about it?
Guys, let us know. Plug just got to like 380.
PayPal might go to the downside here.
We'll see how this goes. PayPal, the event is tomorrow. What time is it?
No, I thought it was the 25th.
Today's today.
3.
Oh, today's the 23rd. Never mind. But yeah, it is the 25th. For some reason, I thought it was the 24th today. The event is later on this week. See, if you say the event is later on this week, that way if it's tomorrow or if it's Thursday, I'm right in either way. I've learned that in when you're on. If you're not sure about something, say it with the thing you're certain about, which I know it's this week and I know it's not today. So therefore, later this week. Plug just got to 380 and pullback. I had a 75 and a 77 offer.
We're in.
They've already been filled. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure it gets to that $4 level, to be sure. And then Apple Fritter, great name, by the way, in the chat. GME reports on March 18th. Well, that's a little far away.
March?
No, that's too far away.
Might be right.
It's not that I believe you. It just feels like that's really too far away. And as we just talked about it, this spiked 5 cents. Tomorrow, flat bottom break on GME. How about that?
Yeah, it could still happen.
I doubt it happens today.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we have a new position right now at 6 cents in the money. Let's see if we can get a fill finally on Square. We just went around and we went surfing and searching, I should say, not surfing. Surfing would be okay, but it's not really. Today it's a little snowy, but it's about 0, so it's not going to really hold out too much here. So
it's not going to last.
It's not going to last. All right, so we're just going to watch out for this. We just shorted it off VWAP. I want to give it to 60s. Pretty simple trade, a little bit more than 60. We'll give that a little bit of a go here. So we're short Square. We just had it at 53. It went to 47. We were sitting there. We didn't get the fill. That's the problem. We've talked about that again, time and time again. The stock just can't go to your price and then you put an order, because every single time it will sense that there's a new order there. And I'm talking about the algos.
Yeah.
And they'll sense that someone's put a fresh order and they won't let you get filled. They'll try to bid ahead of it, because most of these orders are just robots, and they can tell if there's somebody like us coming through to trade retail and putting bids out. So I've seen it happen obviously way too many times. So I'm now sitting at 47. Let's just see if it goes. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just a little bit silly. I do want to give a big shout out to whoever that was, man, that mentioned Rumble, because spin it. Like Neil and I keep talking about day after day. I sit here, I know what I'm all about. So that's fine. It's just you guys need to know what you're all about. And to trade off VWAP right there, especially something that's near and dear to my heart. I only started trading on this show using VWAP. I had Adara on for a second or third day on the market recap show. Her second or look at Square on as well. And she was I was asking her about levels, and she's still in sim mode. So we were talking about all that. Look at Square. And I said the only thing you need to put on there would be VWAP. So I'm really, really proud of that. And then look what we just did right now on Square. That's right, Brittany. We did it again with VWAP. Nice move to the downside. Although we said we would look for some winners for you. How about those apples right now? It's another one, and we cook it up on Square. So that was a great trade. We can just get out of everything. We're there. We'll punch some 35s out. I'm going to start to get out of this. We only have 30% left. Down goes Square, and we're here for you.
There you go. Square is, the thing about Square is that is a redonkulous, when you talk about like that bounce at the end of the day, that's a pretty big move in a downward trend. So like you're usually not going to have too many levels out there. Like I was looking for SoFi. SoFi didn't get to VWAP. Disney is an example. I'll give you, I was about to tell you Disney, why I just drew a line in there, but Disney's also at VWAP. So I'll skip that and just go over to Disney's at VWAP. It's down 1%. I was looking at it for the south side, but then after getting in here, let's get on the offer because get on the offer first and then worry later. So I'll get the order in. But the thing about Disney, like you look at the double bottom here and you wonder why could you maybe find that double bottom and anticipate that it could be good. Well, I zoomed out to the 15-minute chart. Look at the last couple of sessions and the resistance at 93. 93 stop, 93 stop, 93 stop, 93 stop. And then yesterday, 93 bounce. So what do you think happens when it got to 93 today, 93 bounce? But it's at VWAP right now. The point of that was to say this is also at VWAP and making a big pullback to the upside. 93 to 94, I like the symmetry there. If it goes more than $1, fair enough. If we add that, I like the idea of the market being at the highs and looking for retracement shorts. Micron as well, we just got into there. One's New York, one's NASDAQ. So Micron, pretty much right at this 87, 70 level. Got it here just in front of 60s, looking for a retracement. I was in this trade a couple times. First time good, second time not, so we're 1 for 2 on Micron. DWAC, because I see a few people asking about it. What is it doing? Not much. It's like it's bounced off VWAP a couple, well, not even VWAP. It's bounced off 50 a couple of times. VWAP's closer to 49.5. If this had gone into the high 50s, mid 50s, I was going to short Funware, but this is not moving anymore. So DWAC, great if you had it early. The 50 break was pretty clean if you were able to take it. You can see the volume that happened at the $50 break, but you had to be sitting down at your desk ready to lock and load and punch that short when it just came in. And you would have had a clean $2 or $3 off that on the 50 break. It got up to like 53 and then pulled back like half a dollar. That was, I'm not going to sit there and call it an easy break because I wasn't at my desk, so I can't tell you what price you would have been filled at. Probably within the first 30 cents is my guess because that's pretty reasonable for DWAC. So the new position for me is going to be Disney at, you guessed it, we already talked about it, it's at VWAP here.
Yeah, so tonight we have some people asking me about what we expect for YouTube for Netflix tonight. And we just got this going right here. So yeah, have a quick look and see. Thanks to Derek, she just sent me this ahead of Netflix earnings. Here we go. Netflix will report earnings tonight. Here's subscriber growth visualized. So, you know, they can't miss on their subscriber growth. And if they do, then they're going to be punished, obviously. So let's wait to see what happens here with that. You could see just, I mean, come on, fantastic.
Only going one.
Netflix is one of my best trades, man. I went long at this at $100, same thing as, maybe even lower, same thing as Meta, aka Facebook, and it's been a nice move for Netflix. They need to hit that subscriber growth number. We're also going to wait to see if there's any talk, obviously, about where they are with that ad tier. So that's going to be another thing that we're going to be interested for here with Netflix there tonight. So let's just wait. I mean, it's going to be hard to figure it out. You know, they keep on showing all of the sort of domination in their market share as far as streaming hours and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm more excited about being 22 cents in the money right now on Square. We're bidding 25s. Let's see if this market falls back in. Like I said, you know, Qs, Affirm, both top stocks. Here's the Qs. They did fall back in a little bit, but look at that, right off the day's high, right there, like we're talking about the pre-market high for the NASDAQ. That came in. We'll have to wait for this Qs bounce. I'm probably not going to do a whole heck of a lot. We did discuss that Mara trade earlier today and trading off of 1550 if you like that long. And I mean, 1550 was the bottom. We talked about this before the market opened, so that was great for that to be able to hold it. And then we also talked about 1660 being the high. So today, Mara, very much range bound off of yesterday's highs. 1665 coming in. Coinbase probably something else again. We have Bitcoin in the bottom right. I don't know if that's the bottom left for you. I guess it is the bottom left. Or maybe it's not. It doesn't matter anyways. It's right here, as you can see.
It's the bottom right.
Bottom right, yeah, because we're looking at the screen. Okay, good. So right there, you guys have that. Coinbase today, yeah, I don't know. They got that downgrade from JP Morgan, and they had a nice move down, real nice, down to 120, and bounced pretty clean off that up to 126.
Did it get to 27?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Close, though. You're not too far away from that. But yeah, so that's something to look at there with Coinbase. Not moving around too much. But I do like the name. Would rather just wait, man. I'm really trying to get, you know, it's been a good day. I have about 300 fills today. So very, very active for this guy. We'll just wait to see it. Block is still losing. Yeah,
Where?
Block. Yeah, so chap lips. There we go. We have right here, this is a short, my guy, whoever just said that. So we are short on Square. We were long on Square there. That was a banger. And now we went short, waiting to capture a little bit right now. I don't know if you guys can tell, man. I'm just stone cold chilling right here, waiting for something to pop. We do have Square, and there's the fill right there at 25. So bang, 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 and there's the cash cow that is Trader TV Live. So hopefully you guys had a good trade there. That was that. The short was losing. I don't know what you're talking about, Piper. I don't know who anyone's talking about. We are short. Oh, the short's losing. The market, I don't know. Square is losing price. Right now.
He might not be talking about Square.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Someone else was talking about it. But anyways, we'll get down to the downside. We do have to take care of some bees nass with Brendan.
This segment of the show brought to you by Simpler Trading and Danielle's favorite 3 option strategies for tracking any market condition. Get her most popular tools and training bundle today for just $47.
Learn those options. That's why we talked about this. When I was on Friday, I was asked who my favorite guests were, and the reason, and I said I like every guest that we have, and I love everybody in the Trader TV family. I think everybody contributes something different, but because I'm not an options trader, learn the most from Danielle, and because I'm a day trader and not usually looking at things like rates, learn a lot from Frank when he comes on. So shout out to both of them. Check that out at Simple Trading, and then IG as well. So back to back, Jax. Yeah, you're right in the chat, Alan. Fisker goes sideways and is boring. But you know what? Boring's not bad. Boring's not bad. There's the dollar level. Yesterday, it was long over $1. Gave you like 1 to 110 a couple times. I was long in the pre-market at 2s to 5s and 6s. When it broke down, I got out at 90. I got 99.5. I actually got out at, and then I wasn't able to get short at 98. Just for those of you that are curious at Day Trader World, we actually, you have to code a short order. So essentially, you have to get flat and then go short. I can reverse on 1 order. We reverse on 2 orders. So I did not get 99.5 short. It would have been a great short. And we sat in it all day and then looked for the bottom. So it gave you the same trade yesterday. The only difference was the long was a little bit better early, but once underneath that buck, it was an easy short trade for this particular name. So it's back into the downside. If it breaks a low, I just jump out of it. But sometimes boring can be good because it also means the levels aren't that hard to decipher. Looks like Plug is making another run at this high day. It's 330. I have not seen the early look on the imbalances just yet. I'll let you guys know if we do get, it should already be out. I just haven't seen it just yet. I'll let you guys know if I see it pop in. You guys can throw it in the chat if you already see it. But Plug it's 52 million to sell. Thanks, Brendan. 52 million sell imbalance, not gigantic. Obviously, that's pretty lame. Whether or not we get a move on the futures, I think is going to be dependent on what happens at 350, not the early look. If Plug breaks high of the day, one more chance for it to push to $4. That's about it. If it breaks the high and fails the high immediately, I'm just going to jump out of the trade. It was a simple double top breakout at 65, take 66, and it's working in here to the upside. So it was a big move this morning on Plug Power, and then you look for something which is continuing in the afternoon, not really seeing a heck of a lot. SMCI is breaking highs of the day. That's pretty good. Plug Power is breaking highs of the day. We've got Micron, which is back underneath VWAP. That's starting to go to the downside. Disney, if that gets into the 30s, we'll take another fill there. Then we got the quarters as well. Disney, which was at VWAP. Well, I mean, it is at VWAP, not was. It's still at VWAP and holding on. Looking for it to pull down in here to 93.5. Not sure we get to the low of the day on Disney. You need a heck of a lot more action than that. But hey, you're only risking about 10 cents here. So only needs to go into the 60s. And then we'll get something at 1-to-1. K-Fry, anyone watching PayPal? No, not today. We were watching PayPal pretty much every single day this week.
Yeah, we traded yesterday. I think we lost on it.
I came over to PayPal and had one trade and then got away from it. So it was right here. Like if you looked at the key inflection point yesterday on PayPal was at the 65 level. So it came into VWAP. Notice the trend here. So 65 was the inflection point yesterday when it flushed $2. So it came into VWAP today. I'm like, okay, it goes underneath, consolidate under, take the short. But once it broke back above, it's about 15 cents worth of risk. Yeah, you could call it too tight, but it doesn't work right away. It goes in the downtrend. I short the first pop. Doesn't hold that 65 level. We get out of the trade. I didn't go back to it. But guess what happened in the afternoon? We went to 65 in VWAP. So we probably should have gone back to it. That's fine. We got Micron. That just made another leg into the downside. The futures starting to roll to the downside a bit more. Let's give this one some more room. I'm not thinking we're going to flush. But the NASDAQ did get to this double top here and start to roll back over to the downside. So heading back in, Plug hopefully doesn't care what's happening in the futures because it's still trying its breakout.
All right, well, we just came back. We got some tea. We were debating between Orange Pico or...
Tea Earl Grey hot.
Yeah, this is lemon ginger. Dara was in there. Dara got some, she told me peppermint.
That's what
I listen, Dara, you know.
Peppermint, I peppermint every single day.
Yeah, yeah. So
that's the go-to in the afternoon.
Okay, peppermint, nice little go-to right there. That was good. All right, guys, so we broke down. First of all, we're really happy with Square. I mean, Square is now 25 cents, 30 cents in the money and hopefully making moves. This is the area we did not short Meta. I picked on Square, and I'm pretty glad that we did because Square really paid off to the short side. And Meta right now, this is at the level that I was going to short. I was sitting at 75. We talked about that. So if you do like Meta, it did make a strong move off the 50 period and then trying to get to view up. I don't really like to mess around when you get like 1, 2, 3. Like, because then you're thinking like, oh, you're going to bounce off that. You're going to short there. You're going to like wait for that. It's just, it's too much. You know, Square, for example, had a huge move to VWAP. So we didn't even have to worry about it trading through here or here. We just waited for VWAP. So if you kind of go back to Meta there and have a quick look, if you're going to short it, it's probably good to wait, not to do anything in the middle right now, especially with a little bit of, I don't want to say uncertainty, but I don't really have a greatest opinion on where this market's going right now. So we're going to wait. It is fading. I mean, this is a big trade. I don't really, you know, again, we don't put on a huge amount of shares. We talk about that because it is the end of the day here, but still like this trade and it's working. So Square coming back. We do have, this is the lowest. We haven't gotten a fill here. Our best fill was 25s. And again, remember what our stop was? I have the stop in right now. 66, so 61 up to 66. So we right here had a break there of 59 up to 61, 62. We're short 53. So let's just call it a 10 cent slip up there getting out. So that's 10 cents worth of risk. We're now in the money 34 cents. So far so good on that little bit of a play. And like I said, we're doing pretty good. Yeah, 400 for Meta. Look, I think Meta's earning, I don't know what else to tell you guys. I'm not selling anything else. I'm very, very much long. I really loaded up the account, and Sharif knows this because he did it as well, down there sub 100 on Meta. Now you're at $400. Like that's been a monster move in Meta, but advertising is so strong. So I really think Meta can work. I think Google will have a big quarter as well. Apple, waiting to hear to see what Apple does. But for me, I like Google, I like Meta. Amazon, I'm a little bit worried about their cloud. Let's see what happens with Amazon, but the market's not worried about it as it's pretty much at highs as well. Netflix, I don't have a good feel on. The stock for me that's the most interesting, just because of all the action that's surrounding it. I really think Disney could have some fun come earnings season here. I don't know when they report, but again, watching out for that 90 level. If it breaks there, I think there's going to be a lot of DFS. There's 7th. Okay, so that's still a while away. So we still got a month for that. Or no, sorry, 2 weeks for that. Disney on the 7th. So this is going to be an interesting name for me, breaking below this 90 if you get it. I feel like you could spike through on something good. So we'll wait to hear what happens there with that one. ScarJo Rabbit, sell everything before earnings. I'm not, you know, the last thing I bought was Apple 186. And I bought that off open 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So that was a good one. I really haven't bought anything else.
The question is, these trades are investments.
Yeah, well, Apple, I'm buying any dips.
And that's sort of the thing. Well, it was more to the point of the
thing is,
to sell everything before earnings. Like, I understand a trade selling before earnings or trimming things that you feel a little bit risky on, but I would never, if it's something is my long-term account, I'm not selling it all before earnings.
Oh no, all of it, no, but I think there's one thing to say if you think the earnings are bad.
Like Nvidia,
take something
I talked about this a couple of times last week and then maybe a couple of times this week. I'm almost certain that by the time we get some of the other earnings out there and Nvidia pumps more going into theirs, I might want to take something out because I think you'll get a chance to buy it back better. But that would be like 5 or 10%. Like, I'm not talking about selling the boat or anything like that. Just one note here. There was that headline on Boeing that came out. I put it in the chat. That Alaska Airlines CEO saying the airline found some loose bolts on many MAX 9s during inspection. So the loose bolt problem is apparently still a bit of a thing. So, I mean, Boeing, they're not out of it just yet. Plug wicked me out. I said if it broke the high of the day, I would give it one more chance to push to 8. But if it failed that top, I'd get out. There's the break. There's the wick. So I just jumped out there at 79 on the way back in. Maybe it goes higher. We'll see if it can continue. The market's rolling over a bit, but Plug was a 365 break, got 66s, and it went every 5 cents, and it got to that 80 level as well. Micron heading back down. It's not at VWAP that it's been failing. It's been failing just above VWAP, right here at about 87.60. So the thing about VWAP is it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, the stock gets right to that red line or whatever color you have it, and it just turns around. But there's gravity around it at VWAP, and the trend is to the downside. So I'd rather go to the south side of the trade here. Yeah, we got Hertz Scrambler, IBM.
It's tonight as well, right?
Was that on our board? If it was, then I missed it. I know we had the earnings board up. Probably paying way too much attention.
I definitely don't think it was there.
Yeah, because I remember ASML. I mean, obviously we're talking about ASML, but yeah, I don't remember IBM being there. That's our bad. If IBM is after the bell tonight, what they say. No, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow after market. Sorry. So
okay, good.
You didn't say tomorrow. I thought maybe you meant tomorrow morning. After market. So for us, I consider something. If it's pre-market earnings tomorrow, I kind of think of that as like tonight's earnings because you don't trade it till the next day. But yeah, we worry about that one tomorrow. And IBM, that's another don't necessarily trade. Like, you leave it for dead, and you look at how strong that stock has been. You look at GE, you leave it for dead. Boring stock? I like some boring stocks sometimes. I'm going to pull up Oracle, and it's probably not going to look as good, but sometimes that happens. But it's the same point, man. When you talk about some of these, I don't want to call them left for dead a third time, but that's essentially what happened to a lot of the Four Horsemen and a lot of these older tech stocks. Now, Oracle's a different story because we know we saw it under some pressure, holding that 100 level. Maybe we get a chance to revisit 100. When a stock does this, usually you want to throw a little buy key down there.
We just, let's just do this again. I don't know. We just took out 39 cents right now on Square. So there's a 40-cent winner for you right there. I hope it sort of topped up your day. It did for me. So So far, so good here. It's 343. We're trying to save a lot of energy for this closing show, man. We're going to have big earnings coming through, Texas Instruments and Netflix. Let's have a quick look at Texas Instruments. We didn't really look at this too much. Wow, 175. I would have gone wrong on that. On guess what price of stock it is. 175. I guess that's a nice move for Texas Instruments. Getting ready for their earnings report, looking to blow off the top again. That top would be 185. They can easily get to that number, and we'll see if they can or not tonight with Texas Instruments coming through. Yeah, so far, oh, darn, we have this wick right here. I'll have to, oh, I missed it. Oh, I missed it again. Where is it? Right there. Yeah, I got it. All right, so you got to edit these candles. See 156. Like sometimes these dark pools, I just put in whatever the open was there. So there it is. So Texas Instruments right now making a move down. All right, so down 0.5, not great. Obviously heading into earnings. We'll see what that means. But right now on the bottom of the day. So this is a pretty interesting name as well. Watch out for maybe breaking that bottom here into earnings. We'll see if this means something, and then we'll try to put it up here. And remember for next time, if stocks close near their low, what happens to their earnings report? Netflix, and exactly would be the complete opposite here, right? Netflix, basically, it's not now, but we just touched the high of the day. So Netflix hitting highs 10 minutes before their report. Let's call it 30 minutes before their report. Texas Instruments hitting the lows 30 minutes before the report. So should be very, very interesting here to see what happens, and we're going to have it all for you. Brendan mentioned live at 4, so I'll run over there in about 10 minutes, get all set up, and then we'll get that, and then Tesla is tomorrow. So people asking about Tesla, but that's going to be aftermarket Thursday.
Yeah, they're aftermarket.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. Today's Tuesday. So
I did the same thing. I keep thinking it's Wednesday. It's when you get into earnings season, you anticipate Wednesdays and Thursdays because those are the big days out there when you have the majority of the big names reporting. Let's get to the desk and hear about IG.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Rage TV saying get ready for that Alibaba last minute. I know you meant pop, not pup. But yeah, Alibaba, it didn't give you the dip buy. Hopefully, if you're like, look, if you took the, I wasn't advocating the short. I know a couple of people were saying short it at the high. If you did take that, there was an opportunity to get a little bit of a scalp trade in there, which wasn't that bad. But it's now breaking back out those tops on Alibaba. Micron could be running out of steam. Disney just doesn't seem to want to get going. It's not out of the money. Okay, fine. It's got a couple of cents in the money, couple of cents out of the money. It was about 9 pennies in the money at best, and it's 3 cents out of the money and giving you a consolidation. Because it's closer to 350, tightening up all stops, all that kind of stuff, because the imbalances are about to come out. We told you guys it was a tiny 52 million sell imbalance. That's sort of reflected here on the imbalances. Like nothing on the early look is Verizon's 700,000. That's it. Nothing's even close to a million. That Fisker, that's from 9:30. You can tell. You see like 9:30. That's the whatever the morning imbalance was right at the end, and it'll only refresh when the imbalances come out at about 350. So there's nothing significant on the imbalance locator for us to watch here. It's going to check back in on Funware, see if that's still not Funware. I keep saying that, but I mean Plug.
Rumble is
Plug's still hanging out at that high. Maybe it is going to be I don't know. Maybe this is the squeeze name, but it's going to close at the highs. John just mentioned things closing at their lows. Well, Plug Power I want to call it day one because it's been going up for 3 days, but the first parabolic move was today. Can it get through the $4 level tomorrow? Should be on that radar. We like those even dollar breaks. It's already through previous support, and the 50 period's right exactly at $4 as well. So I like that $4 level tomorrow on Plug. We'll not be trading the SoFi breakdown because SoFi didn't break down. Ha 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 ha. But SoFi, that's 770. I like SoFi. I own SoFi on my personal account, but that's 2 days in a row. You bottomed here once, you double bottomed here. They report on Monday. That's a flat bottom break if it happens on SoFi. I would have taken it if it had happened this afternoon, but with only 2 minutes to go, it has to get there and then break. There's not enough time for that to happen. So no breakdown in SoFi. That's a situation where if I still had the order in, I'd be canceling it right now. because we're too close to 350 to take that fill.
All right, we're going to get real spicy with it. Let's see if we can really break on Square with this imbalance coming through. We'll see. Has Brennan given us what it was? 52 million to sell. So my bad on that one, not reporting that earlier. I don't know if it's going to be enough for Square, but our last fill is at 15. So we only have 10% left. Let's see if we can make it a doozy down here. I just put a bid at 65.80, down basically near the low of the day. See if Square can get to that one. Yeah. LMT. What else? Oh, Alibaba. Alibaba. Boeing. We can have a quick look at. Again, down 1.42%. I still really like this trade. I kind of planned this out for everybody where you get long. I mean, I think you got to wait for a little bit closer to 200 would be nice. Could be in there tomorrow for Boeing. And then you play it off of that 175 level with earnings coming January 31st, so we're just a week away for Boeing earnings. I really like this play, buying it down here and then playing off of there. So I think they're going to guide lower because of all of this, right? I mean, some of their planes are off. They're probably having to pay for all of these inspections, which is going to be super expensive. And then obviously some of the reputational damage and things like that. But like I keep saying, when you're running a monopoly, it's you just kind of got to play nice and things will work out. So let's see if that is the case for Boeing. Could be a little bit of a spicy mover heading into earnings if it's not already. Boeing right now looking to take out the low of the day. With imbalances though just seconds away, we do have to get over there quickly. We'll look at them. And I'm not going to trade this, but that could send Boeing downside right now. So we're at 349, 57, 58, 59, and bang. So let's see what happens now. If there's anything coming through, Brennan will get it to us. I don't really see too much.
Nothing
Verizon.
over $1 million?
No, Verizon reports tomorrow, so that's there. Okay, here we go. Now it's starting to load up. Lucid with the sell. What's Lucid at? $3. Yuckity, yuck. Penn there. Portnoy's out of that. Oh, there's PayPal, a $9.70 to sell. That should help Square. Square still 40 cents in the money and not doing anything. Rivian with the sell. We made money on Rivian. Rivian's going to be a good stock for us today. Google with a buy. Microsoft with a buy. I'm just trying to see if anything's happening with these stocks right now. Not much. So, all right, that's what we've got on board right here. Not too much into the close.
Yeah, whatever. I didn't actually see Disney there, but Disney was just starting to head to the downside, and it bounced off that 70 a second time, so we're short at 79. It couldn't move any more than that. Once it got back to break even, I had tightened my stop up because it was 350, and then that just came out. I didn't see whether it was a buy or sell imbalance. Micron, that actually bounced as well, so it's going to be, the market's taking out these highs, or back at those highs, so I'm just going to jump out of this as it's back into VWAP. At the end of the day, you don't know which direction the imbalances are going to come out. I love it for that. If you're in the money in something, it gives you that coin toss effect where you're not having to get into position, but all you do is get out for flat or a smaller win if you're in the right direction, if it goes against you. But if the imbalance goes your way, then suddenly you've got some extra momentum and juice going into the trade. But unfortunately, it looks like both the things I were in the money, and then they pop back into the upside. For those still watching DWAC, I'll let you know that it closed pretty much right off this 51 level. That 50 breakout, like I said, was clean. I wasn't in it. I wasn't at my desk, but it's held 50 the entire afternoon. So that is the level to watch, I think, going into tomorrow if you're still going to look at it. And then the big runner, well, one of the big runners in the afternoon was this SMCI again, right back through 450. Only a $5 move. Remember, when it broke 450 yesterday, it didn't go $5. It went $35. A $5 move on SMCI is a scalp trade. Just keep that in mind if you decide to trade this stock. When it really goes, your slippage can work into that. What else we got going on here? You guys let me know if there's anything you want us to look at. I'm out. No new positions on. I suppose we can look. It makes sense to be looking at Netflix going into the close. Up at 490 here. They're the ones reporting. Ooh, Alibaba's really starting to head back in. Hey, guess that short's going to pay off for you. But Netflix is not even doing much going into the close. Like, you're grinding higher, but you're not exactly flying to the upside. Jameson saying XLE thoughts?
XLE?
Well, I mean, we usually save this kind of stuff. I know for the recap show, if my chart wants to even load. Come on, daily chart. here's what I'll do. When my daily chart doesn't load, I'll show you guys XLE over here on Trade Ideas to go through some thoughts. I already said this morning, if not for the fact that I had already bought Chevron at 141 recently, this time I would be adding as well. But that's for my long term. I'm not really getting out of the thing. It was just a good opportunity to get back in on the bid. And if you look at this trend, to me, it's a lot unbroken on the daily. The reason I still like energy has more to do with this weekly chart. And this is what it comes down to. Like, you are still making higher lows into the same flat top, right? So the overall trend has still been good. You're well above the 200 period on the weekly chart. You're beneath it on the daily, but it's made higher lows since it's gone underneath. I don't think it's in trouble unless you break like the 75 level. That's when I would consider, hey, maybe we should pump the brakes on it. But it's still holding that upward channel. So when you look at this, when you really zoom out, I'm not seeing a lot of trouble just yet. It wouldn't be nice if it starts to get going soon.
I'm getting ready to just, Square. That's what I want to do before I go back. So we're done. There's Square, nicely done to the downside. We got out at 11s. That was the bottom of the move. We were just sitting right there on the market on close and balances, and we got that trade. So that's it. It's done. Square done for the day, and pretty good day today. So yeah. I will, I'm not going to, I'll duel people tomorrow. I'm exhausted to even put out orders right now, put out anything. I got to go over to the other desk. So that's Square. I like Roblox. Someone asked me that in the chat. You know, what was my opinion on Roblox? I've already pegged Roblox as one of the best stocks to be buying right there. We talked about buying it at 40. You're now in the money at $1. Did go down to 38. That bottom there of 36 is pretty sweet. We'll wait to see about earnings on Roblox as well. But I really like that name, and I think you can buy it. So if you do like Roblox as well, then you're with me. And let's just find out where they report or when they report. I know where they do. They're on the NYSE. They are reporting Feb 7th, so 2 weeks away. We'll get some Roblox numbers coming through. I think you can buy it now and just start your position, but we're going to have to wait for Roblox earnings on February 7th. Thank you so much. Join me immediately right after this at 4 o'clock for the recap show. We'll have Chris Brecher and Traders Stay Late. So you're going to stay late with me one more time here today. And we're going to have Netflix earnings, Texas Instruments, and we're going to talk all about earnings, tweets, roll call, all that kind of fun stuff. I'll see you guys in 4 minutes.
Not reporting tonight, but reporting tomorrow morning is AT&T. I just checked the imbalance. It popped up on the imbalance locator to the tone of 2.5 million shares. You'll see AT&T and Verizon are the only big imbalances. It's a little bit late in the day. If this happens at 350, I probably would have taken the shot short here. But the bigger look for AT&T has got to be tomorrow morning. Can it take out these highs? It's pretty obvious. This is $17.50. You already have a big imbalance. You know, some people probably trying to position themselves. You don't necessarily make predictions based on what direction people are going, because you can have a gigantic sell imbalance and it could be some kind of a hedge. It doesn't mean someone is selling. They could just have a gigantic long position and maybe they're looking to maybe trim some. But you look at that 1750, AT&T can be deceiving. This is a stock that can absolutely move. You can see back in October, you had a $1 move that day. You go all the way back in December, you had another day where it moved almost an entire $1. This breaks that 1750. I think it's got some room to run to the upside. So watch out for that tomorrow morning. The only issue, like discussed this morning, you got to watch out for things that report in the morning in the conference call. Always have an idea exactly when that call is, because it can completely blow up a trade in the moment that you're in that trade. I cannot say that enough. I've been in that road, and you don't want to get yourself trapped without a stop order or with a stop order that triggers and then doesn't fill for you. But this should be on the radars tomorrow morning. Chill vibes, NVIDIA 600 incoming. Yeah, not much of a bubble here, eh? Like $600, like this stock, it just continues to go. And look at the liquidity grab at the open. So what happens? Anyone that's never heard the term, if you're buying things for your long term, don't buy them at the open, buy them at the close. In this particular case, if you just kind of wait a couple of beats at the open, that's the way to go. The general idea there is that most of the market movements to the upside happen in overnight gaps. So yeah, this happens to be closing at the high of the day, but typically it's a little bit better to be making those purchases at the end of the day. I love when things close at the high because it shows strength. It broke the opening range. It seems to want 600. 600 is not the key level. I saw it in the chat. I didn't see who said it, but 609. I like 610, but you're probably pointing to, you like 609. My guess is you're pointing to some kind of fib level. I think this can break the 610 level if it goes through that 600, like 600 and then 610. Every $10 on NVIDIA looks pretty good. SMCI better runner today. But NVIDIA is just a better trade. The difference between NVIDIA and SMCI to me is liquidity. 1 or 2 cent spreads on NVIDIA. When you come to SMCI, like 50, 60 cent spreads. I'm not a huge fan of those at all. Carter in the chat asking about Nike long. That's a bit random. Nike, we don't have them reporting anytime soon. We only have 1 minute to go here. I'm not going to put any new trades on, but Nike long tomorrow is like, what's the reason? 100 is your area on Nike. These charts don't even want to load. Your 100 has been your area on Nike. So if it breaks out, what's the catalyst? The support level's off the 100. I'd much rather play support trades on stocks without a catalyst than play breakouts on stock without a catalyst. People keep asking about DWAC. DWAC's, oh, it broke 50 to the downside. Oh well. 50 would have been another key level if it could have held it, but that 50 break was good if you had it. It looks like it's going to fail that 50 level. Way too late to go over to Funware and just punch short. But DWAC, flat on the day, that doesn't mean there weren't some opportunities for you to be able to trade. All day long, we're like 50 break, 50 break, 50 break, and then I get up from my desk and it makes the 50 break and go straight to 55. Let's get on over to Adara. We've got the bell in less than 10 seconds. We want to be quick about it because we have Netflix pretty much right after the bell in 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. So we're going to get right through to it because Netflix is already out and they're already moving. Shout out, thank you very much, Ramin, for all day working without Fabian. He'll be back soon as Netflix is pumping to the upside. They're up 3% already. The numbers are probably out. Big shout out to Adara and obviously Sharif on the midday. We love you, Frank. Great guest. Good job today, Brendan, giving you that Boeing news late. You know who I am. You know where you're going to be headed here. We've got Netflix earnings. They just popped $10. And then came back $10. So you're already flying around here on Netflix. The market recap is on, and you've got major earnings on tap live.
Best. All right, welcome, guys. We are big time right now. It's 5:09, baby. We're ready to rock and roll. It's Netflix. Welcome to the fun stuff here. It's earnings season. This is the best season. You're here. It's market recap. We're going to go over all the live earnings as they come through right now. Immediately, I'll refresh my Benzinga Pro, and we'll get these Netflix numbers. Wow, 520 and absolutely ripping to the high side. A beat on subs, apparently. Unfortunately, I don't have anything on this Benzinga yet. 525 and still going. Here it is right now. Netflix, monster beat. Yes, sir. We're long Netflix. Bang on that one. Anybody long with me? Put up their hands. Right now, sales, 8.83 billion, beating the estimate of 8.72. Can you imagine that? A company that used to sell you CDs in the mail, send you CDs, nice 12% increase right there. We'll wait for some more numbers, but look what's happening. It's a nice movement up to 522. And guess what? We'll go back over to a weekly chart. We're approaching again. Remember, Netflix was the darling of COVID up there near 7 bills. Drops all the way down to 200. This is where we bought Netflix on this break back up. Look at Netflix making moves. 526 and change right now for NFLX. Netflix right here. Gap EPS 211 misses 221. Okay, so we'll get some back and forth there, missing the EPS, but looks like it beats on sales. Now we wait to hear what's going on with the subs. Don't have it yet on Benzinga, but I'm sure it's out. We'll just wait for that report. Looking like it wants to make some moves higher. We'll get all the stocks as they start coming through, but for right now, it's Netflix up to 523, up 8 points. Right now is Netflix. Please tell me Disney's catching something from this. Yes, Disney, mini bang for Disney up to $94. Nice little move here. Let's go to a 1 minute chart to see just the dramatic movement. Up to $94.50 there for Disney. Back to Netflix and see where that's going again. up to 530 and stopping. Why may we stop there? 560 is sort of a level that I have pegged right now to look at. 530, not really anywhere here. We'll wait to see where happens with that one. Nice move in Oracle today as well. Not earnings, but a nice move for Oracle. We're long here at about $100 for that one. Let's go over to a day. And what a day it was. Thank you for joining us on the Market Recap Show. This is Trader TV Live. I am Sean Katina, and I'm going to be here with you guys every single damn day besides Friday, because Friday's podcast day. Bang on that one. And guess what else is out? Texas Instruments is out. Let's go over and have a quick look. Uh-oh, Brendo. Texas Instruments going to the downside now, 168, making that move. Let's just check out what Benzinga says about TXN right now. Texas Instruments, yuck. Is that right? Q4 149 versus 213. That one, where's my fail button? We'll slap it. That's not a good one right there. Sales missing as well. Oh no, Texas Instruments with a downside move here. This is not what we all wanted to see, especially if you're going to be long chip names and whatnot. It's Texas Instruments downside push right now. There's Netflix revenue again. C's guiding forward 924 versus 93. They are seeing higher than expected revenues coming in Q1 for Netflix. Texas Instruments getting kicked. But the thing about it is, we're not even back to the 200, let alone the 50 down here at 160. I think you pick up Texas Instruments. Hey, we're going to take a sip because we just hit 2 big earnings calls. It's Hydration Nation. Tea is water. We have water. So is coffee. So is many things that you drink. Water, beer, water. All right, FXI today. What a nice day for FXI, of course, battling back off the China stimulus, right? So again, Chinese government says enough is enough. We've seen this. We had Michael Noss on yesterday. FXI battling back today. Silly me. I put Alibaba bid down at $70 this morning. Did not get it, obviously on that news. Nice gap higher. Would love to get that fill. Alibaba today up 8 points as well. Monster move for that. What's up with that? XHB with a nice little downside push today. This is the home builders. So that coming off of highs again. I believe all-time highs for XHB coming into play and just falling down a little bit. We're getting more and more coming through here. Intuitive Surgical, ISRG, another big name to report today. 371 up to 378. Here we go. Let's see what ISRG is saying right now. Here it is, Intuitive Surgical. 160 versus 148. Also sales on a beat, but Intuitive going to the downside. Just see a note here on Netflix. All right, what are we talking about? We expect a healthy double-digit revenue growth. I mean, when you're this kind of company and you're putting up $9 billion in revenues, double digit, very nice. Forex neutral basis, okay, so we're gonna have to see strength in the US dollar. Although the US dollar is pulling back a little bit, lemon ginger, we are continue to be driven by membership growth as well as improvement in FX neutral. So I don't know, I guess they're hedging out of all of that because of their business. That would make a little bit of sense. Texas Instruments and Netflix, the 2 big names that are now out. Check in on Texas. This was not a great report for them, missing on both ends. So we'll have to wait to see what happens with Texas Instruments down to 167, everybody. And then Netflix, of course, double check this. Uh-oh. Maybe pulling back in a little bit. It was up 8, now up 5. Netflix pulling back in again. We will have Chris Brecher coming through very, very soon. It must be the guide. The only last news I have from Benzinga here is this guide. And that's the last report there at 403, 924 versus 93. So we talked about that, looking to guide lower. Although this is green, looking to guide lower versus 9.3. So maybe that number was a little different the first time we reported it. But again, 924 versus 93. Lower guide into Q1. You know what? I don't know why. I mean, I love when they guide if they have a clear vision of their growth and their potential subs and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes, though, take that with a grain of salt. Their quarter was huge. They beat on every metric. Why can't they do it again? I don't have an answer for that. I think they can. Netflix programming continues to get bigger and better. I had a tweet about that. We'll do that when we get over to Sean's tweets. All right, how about silver today? Nice move. Silver again getting to a level where you may want to pick some up. Silver and gold. Gold had a huge run during Christmas because Brendan bought all the gold for his wife. Very nice of him. Up there to 190. But we've pulled back since that new year, back into the 50-period moving average. So watch out for those tops in and around 192 for GLD. But again, another positive move. The only red sort of area for me to be concerned about today, we had the banks were downside there with the KRE, so that one, a downside move. I thought I added ETHE to this list, but I did not. KRE with the banks, a little bit of a downside move, but still really healthy. We saw Zion, we talked about that yesterday. And then we had, what was the other regional we had yesterday? It wasn't Western. There was one. We'll find it. It was a bank earnings yesterday. Someone in the chat will probably get it to me anyways. And then we did have IBIT, the Bitcoin ETF. Again, nice downside move. And if you're going to look today, it was basically all day, man. I mean, here's Bitcoin right here. Unfortunately, the actual coin itself down to 39,000. We talked about this and where we thought we could buy it. If you're not listening to the podcast, I actually don't have it on here. First of all, check out the sticky note. I have that. Podcast, we talked about buying some Bitcoin. My suggestion, looks like it might be a good one, was into 36, right into this level. Because again, we had that bottom that happened sort of in the whole market back on Halloween. That sort of bumped everything up. We saw Coinbase go up 150% from 70 to 180. That might even be more than 150. Huge move up. So of course, Coinbase is going to be, Bitcoin's going to be a sell the news event. We will look to see what happened with Ethereum today. ETHE is very, very accurate, tracking the price of Ethereum. Oh my, down 8% today goes Ether. So nice move down for the Ethereum ETF. This is not an ETF, of course, this is the Grayscale product. Ethereum ETF's not approved yet. Let me check out our friend Hut. So glad. I know Brendo and I were both in this name. I keep saying that because he's sitting here. I never normally talk about Brendan. But getting out of that, man, when this thing reverse split and went all the way up and then started to come back down, we took advantage of getting out of that. But Hut 8 might be at a buy spot right now, down to $6. They did have a bear, it wasn't Bear Cave, but one of those short seller reports, it might have been Bear Cave, came out on Hut 8. And since then, it's been a downside move. Unfortunately, Coinbase, I've hated this stock pretty much the whole way up, and we were wrong as that kept moving, but now we're pulling back in. But look at this level, 111, 110 for Coinbase could also be something to look at right there as well. All right, this is Netflix. Okay, so let's have a quick look here. Can that screen even go up on there? All right, Ramin, can you hit the screen that Brendan has there? That's a share screen because here's the summary results and the forecast for Q1. So as we can all see here, look at the revenue just continue to beat, right? Q2, 7.8, 8.1, 8.1, 8.5, 8.8. And then the big forecast moving forward, look at the growth, look at the operating income. I mean, does it get any better than this? Look at the diluted EPS. They're looking at 4.49. The only problem is, look what just happened with that EPS. 2.11 just came out through 3.71. So they've taken some hits there. We'll find out. Look at those global streaming paid memberships there, right in the middle of your screen. 260. 13% growth. That's absolutely monstrous. Thank you, Brendan, for all of that. There's a little bit of a rundown. That'd be awesome if we got that moving forward for that. Maybe send me where you got that, and then we can show it moving forward. But there's Netflix on a 10-minute chart, up to 512. We did get going up to 530. Let me put this on a 1 minute, and then we'll have another quick look. 530, pulling back into 510 quickly on Texas Instruments. Oh, yuck. Texas Instruments falling back in. Does that mean that we're going to have a problem for AMD? AMD, 169 all the way down to 167, sort of saying hold my beer a little bit. What's NVIDIA doing on this report as well? NVIDIA pulling back down $2. Not really too much happening there. Texas Instruments may be on an island of their own right now as we continue to go. We are getting set up. We do have Chris Bretcher coming on today on short notice, so I want to thank him for that, as Brian Shannon had to step away, and we arranged this with Chris. So thank you so much for Chris coming through again. Should be very, very cool. We're going to have him look at some Tesla. We'll have a look at some Netflix and then some possible ideas that he's looking at. What did the spiders do today? Look at this. Another one. I mean, we're just hitting all-time highs here, back and forth. Let me go over to a weekly chart for the SPY. So here you go right now. You are still above that past all-time high of 480. So 485 looks good to me. The SPY continues to rock and roll. What about JP Morgan? Banks starting to recover a little bit. We like to see that happening again today. NIO was a really good trade, one of my best coming through today. Can't really talk too much about profitable trades and what was the #1 trade on the show, but I can tell you NEO was a big one there for me today. We definitely hit that off 650, but it did fade the rest of the day. Look at NEO here. We hit this move early. We ran it all the way up, and then it just faded the rest of the day, and we were able to get out on 659 for our top amount of profit on NIO. That was a really good one here. What else you guys want to talk about? XLF was making a nice move today. Again, up, actually flat, but retracing back up to all-time highs. I was sort of crapping on XLF, but remember what I said about this name? 13% is Berkshire Hathaway. They're not just in all the major banks. The banks have really made a nice comeback, including BAC. I mean, if you're trying to find something, look at this 50-period move. The reason why I like Chris for many reasons, okay? But one of the big ones is he always gives me credit for this Pan W. And we really nailed this Palo Alto trade down there at 235. Chris was on the show that day, and I'm like, Chris, you know what? I really like this. He maybe wasn't on, maybe it was the day before, but I was like, we're at the 50 period. I really liked what Pan W stood for, cybersecurity. And for me, it was kind of easy. We had Ukraine. We continue to have Russia and Ukraine worries. We're going to have China worries. Russia just hacked Microsoft. State-sponsored hackers just got into Microsoft's emails for top executives. So that didn't do anything to Microsoft. They were just like, whatever, it's all good. But still, if they're breaking into Microsoft servers, I mean, I feel like you'd really need to be protected. Pan W, CrowdStrike continue to work upside right now. There goes Palo Alto. We'll wait to see when their earnings report comes through. Of course, that is Pan W. Nice little move there. USO not doing a whole heck of a lot today. I reported there were more drone strikes or something in Yemen. I don't know, man. The Red Sea just continues to be a problem, but not for oil, I guess. It's kind of just hovering around. I thought with all this controversy and sort of strife there, oil would be a little higher than it is, a little disappointing, but you know what's really kicked it off? And again, another thing to my good friend Chris Brecher, he's all about the transports. I said, yeah, I like the transports, but you know what I like as market breadth? The semis, and we always talk about SMH. So again, buy the dips on SMH, and that really paid off. We were actually lucky enough to get some down here on the SMH because I wasn't sure about NVIDIA or AMD or any of that. We picked some up. These are just holds. We most recently bought Apple as well. But hey, we're rocking and rolling. That's the market recap. Another positive day across the board, led by China, led by, I guess, Nat Gas was up 2% today. XLP was nice. XLK and the triple Qs lead the way. And the SPY, again, bang, back up to all-time highs. Ramin, tell me Mr. Brecher's ready. He's ready. Let's go with Trader Talk. Hey, Chris, how are you doing today? And thank you for coming on late notice.
Yeah, sure is. We have finally the painters done, and I'm going to really miss having Satan right up my shoulder on the right, that hog-nosed snake.
Oh, my God. How long
finally
is that
having
snake?
the painting done, and I'm hoping everything's back to normal tomorrow.
And the back is feeling well?
Yeah, it's okay. You know, this surgery makes everybody tired, including me. But I've hardly missed any days, and we've tried to stay on the correct side of the market day in and day out. I think it's really important about the continuity to be here every day just to know what's going on. So I really hate missing any days.
You and I, much alike. Wow, there goes Netflix. Quickly back over to my screen just real quick. Netflix right now. Guys, we went over the numbers and then Netflix started to rip right there. So obviously everybody watching the show, and we're really happy to have you on right now, Chris. What a quarter that was for Netflix. I don't know if you saw what we were just talking about there. Looks like a beat across the board, man. Subscribers continue to grow higher and higher. They're projecting a little bit of a lower revenue number, so we'll have a look at that, but the growth continues. I'm going to imagine that you are a Netflix subscriber.
Yeah, every night now we're watching Louder Milk. I don't know if you've watched
What's
that
it called?
yet. That's right up your alley. It's called Louder Milk.
Why is it right up my alley?
It's your kind of humor.
My kind
I think
of humor.
you'd
Okay.
really enjoy it.
I almost had to kick you off there, but no. All right, we'll watch Louder Milk. Brendan had a movie called The Lift that he liked there, so check that out as well. Content, you know what I'm watching with my kids? Superstore. We're redoing that. The kids tend to like that one as well as a sitcom. All right, Netflix, you have it up right here, or what do you want to talk about today? I'm going to open it up to you. I'm impressed with Netflix. Nice move up to 530. Let's go, Chris.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, overall, the trend has been that if a stock is near its high for the year,
Yep.
the earnings seem to disappoint. Netflix is always its own entity, especially with this World Wrestling deal. But when you look at like Texas Instruments, and we played that today, and I'll show you how if you want me to, about a tremendous amount of stocks that are near new highs for the year. The bar is so high, almost everyone is disappointed. And like I said, I don't really count Netflix in there.
Why
but
not?
You take the Texas.
Why not?
Take GE. Pardon me?
Why not? Why can't we include Netflix into that year high break scanner of yours?
Well, the weird thing is, really, in the grand scheme, it's not at a new high.
Okay.
I mean, it's you see where it is in relation to Texas Instruments.
Okay.
And it's that thing about what's more important, paying up for content or the actual content. So at the moment, people care about the content, not on the content costs. And that's been going on for years where they spent so much and the stock just kept going up. So Netflix.
They did it the right. They did it the right way. They did it the right way. They bought content that people wanted to watch, and people thought it was ridiculous. They're paying all this content for random shows. But how stupid, honestly, is a company like Paramount or NBC Universal that actually produces The Office and then gives it over to Netflix so everybody could stream 1 trillion hours of The Office for $10 a month. Meanwhile, Netflix just writes a check to NBC for $10 million or something like that, as if it didn't even matter, because they were the only streaming service. Now, Peacock and all that are trying to play catch up. Maybe it's too late, Chris.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I mean, just from a fundamental thing, that's where you value a company on their CEO.
Yep.
I mean,
Reed Hastings,
he did a heck of a job of figuring that out before everybody else did.
Let's
no doubt. But I'll tell you on how we played Netflix. I'm not talking about overnight, but intraday. A lot of times we play these stocks to revert to their mean. So all we're doing in there, one thing is you need a choppy market. I know we've talked about this before of these kinds of ideas, but the idea is that if Netflix intraday has those type of patterns, you can play them to unchanged. And it worked. They went right to unchanged. So Texas Instruments, bear flag, intraday, I'll show you. Survey says, but there's your bear flag. There's your bear flag.
Yep.
These things work, especially after a green candle. If you get a red to take back half the green. And these have been real reliable about these going back to unchanged into earnings.
Hey,
then you don't have to bet on earnings.
Remember that trade that you broke down with us was the sort of the last second options trade? You look at sort of those imbalances and you try to figure out if there was going to be a big move there in the last couple of seconds, and you would try to buy or sell puts or calls on the SPY, waiting for those imbalances at 350 to hit and then cashing out maybe right at the end of the day. You remember what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, well, you never know. I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but
Same.
yes, I remember what you're talking about. And
So
basically, it works a lot better
Right.
after companies that have big buybacks are reported.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you was, is this something that we're looking at into earnings season? I feel like it's a little risky heading into earnings season because we really have no idea what kind of numbers are going to come out, positioning much harder in some of those names that heading to earnings season because, Chris, for me, I don't like to trade stocks that report either the next day or the same day. I'll trade it maybe the day after once we could see some levels for some support and resistance. But for me, trading earnings names day before and day of tend to be a little tricky until we can really find some good support and resistance levels. So will you be looking at Netflix tomorrow or Texas Instruments, or have you already sort of made your play and we'll see how it works out?
Well, if the NASDAQ stays up, so it stays up 78, I'm going to look to play those reversion things. So I don't mind playing things a day of earnings, like Texas had earnings, obviously just now, as long as I see those type of patterns, those bear flags. This is just betting that the broad market pulls up a stock like it did with Texas Instruments earlier in the day. And then if it's a choppy market, if they form that kind of pattern, I'll look to play them to the downside, either with puts or with stock, but not just to blindly buy puts.
Right.
But that's betting on it going back to unchanged. And now that you have Netflix up and you have the NASDAQ up, tomorrow night you got the Lamb Research, you got the IBM.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in playing those if I see reversal patterns overnight. Intraday. So you got the Lamb right here. And like I said, that doesn't mean to play it now, but it means to play it intraday if the market pulls it up and it forms some kind of bearish pattern. So, so I'll look at those. I'll look at those tech stocks for tomorrow to see if they get pulled up. And whether it's Wednesday night or Thursday morning, I'll be looking at the Service Nows on the bottom, the Lamb Research. I'll look at Tesla, no doubt about it. So if the markets get pulled up, I'll look to play that to unchanged. That's worked really well. Not for earnings, just intraday.
One that you might be wanting to look at that reports tomorrow is also ASML, of course. That is near its highs. You come over to my screen right now, 770 right now for ASML. Ramin, thanks. Up there, its all-time high is 869. This is coming, of course, tomorrow morning, Chris. And if ASML misses or guides lower, and of course, these guys produce the equipment similar to what you're talking about with Lamb Research there for a lot of these chips. If they start to see weaker demand, I honestly am starting to get nervous right now for names like NVIDIA, names like AMD that are quite frankly way heated. How could we not think that AMD is not heated up? AMD didn't even have a great quarter and they bounced huge all the way almost a double from $94 all the way to $175, pretty much in a straight line with one weekly red candle. I'm quite frankly, Chris, we talked about this earlier on the show today. Obviously, I don't think you were watching. It was about 3:45 or so when I was saying that it might be time, even for investments, to start to trim, even if you're talking about retirement. So you're probably not going to retire for another 50 years, me probably about another 10. And the thing is that I'm going to start to get out. I'm feeling like if these reports aren't great, I may get out of a piece, let the market fall back, and then try to buy some of these bottoms. You like that idea? I feel like some of these stocks are way heated.
I agree with you completely, especially when you look at this graphic here. Is the bond market, I hope you can see this in here, the bond market rallied right when the NASDAQ did in October.
Rally, here we go.
So they basically went straight up together.
Yep.
And now you've had the bond market really give back a good chunk all the way to where it was at the beginning of December, while the NASDAQ's up in Never Land. So you're definitely seeing that divergence between bonds and stocks, because that bond market rally on the left is what really started the rally of the NASDAQ. And then you have the AMDs like you're talking about just going straight up. Boy, they price for perfection into the earnings, no doubt about it. In fact, I might look to do a spread in it, AMD, under the market for earnings. I hardly ever do earnings.
Unbelievable move in AMD and in NVIDIA. And yeah, we'll look to talk about earnings. Chris, thank you so much for coming on late notice. Glad to talk stocks with you. Such a professional. Glad to see you don't have to get worried about your little snake there behind you. Or wasn't there like 10 snakes or something?
21.
I'm speechless, my guy. 21. Okay, well, good luck, and hopefully they stay confined. And it's Chris Bretcher. They can find you at Simpler Trading. Again, thank you so much on late notice and for reviewing some of those strategies. Have a good one, my friend.
Anytime. Take care.
Ciao, Chris. Aight. That was Trader Talk, baby, and we had a pretty good one there with Chris. Thank you so much for going through some of those names. I actually like what he was talking about there. Any stocks at or near all-time highs, look for a potential fade, especially if the earnings report naturally isn't that great. But we still have a ways to go on Netflix. Let's just double check that real quick before I go over our next topic, which is going to be sticky note reviews. Okay, right there, we do have a nice move up to 530 there for Netflix. So we'll go bang on that as they recover from their potentially poor guide moving forward. A little light on that. All right, so every single day, I don't know if anybody's heard of this thing before. I just kind of created it over the last couple weeks. It's the sticky note, and no, it's been here since day one. I like to just go over a couple different things for review. Now, today, the interesting name for me was Rumble. We saw Rumble move around yesterday. Brendan came up yesterday after market. They released a new studio whereby there was a new form of ad payment, selection process of reading ads, so on and so forth. So they're trying to change the game a little bit and bring people over from YouTube or just multiple streams. And I think that's really cool. They got Barstool there. So I really liked it there. And we went long on Rumble. So let's go ahead and just double check. Oh, my login didn't even work. I'm going to have to here, hold on a second. I'm going to go back, load this up, and then as we're doing this, I'm going to call up Rumble, look at the day that Rumble had as I log into the platform. So my trades will load in. Rumble finishes the day in and around that 650 area off making a bottom near $5. The level that we wanted to play off of was, hold on a second. All right, we should be able to get logged in here. Again, let's go over to a daily chart for Rumble as I'll get logged in here. This is what Rumble was on a 1 minute. Let me go over to a 3 minute real quick. So we really wanted to look at this 540 area. Why was that, you may say? Well, if you go into the pre-market, we bounced around $4 or $5, but this top was $5.20. This top was $5.40. So I was like, if we fell back in, this is kind of the area that we wanted to get long on Rumble, right? And then even yesterday, if we zoom back in a little bit, this level of $5, we held, and then we ripped off that. So if we're going to go back and double check what the sticky note said here, look down. I'm already long Rumble in the pre-market. I'm going to show you in a couple seconds when my layout loads, which it's trying to do right now. Long 540 in the pre-market. We'll get more, and then we'll bail at 5. So that was kind of the talk here on Rumble. And if you're going to look to see what it did, okay, here we go. It's slowly loading. Okay, here we go. Looks like we're loaded up right now. These are live trades, okay? So I will not put on many shares in the pre-market. So this little trade that I came in, it was 8:30. We just went on the air, and I was like, guys, scratch this. I'm getting long. Looks like we're barcoding off of 550, 560. So we got long right there, 580. First piece out, 606. Then we were waiting for 630. All right? That didn't come, but we stayed there. It went to 628. All of a sudden, we get that 630. Comes back in, reload it there at the pre-market, reload it right at the level that we marked down. Remember 540? Right there, 540, Rumble. So that's the load right there, 540. It goes down. It almost breaks 5. It goes down to 515. Then all of a sudden, out at the 200, out, as we rip all the way back. And I got a big shout out to those, I think it was a guy or female or whoever named YouTube or something like that in the chat that was like, come on, man. It went back to view up. You should have got long, and you are right. We should have got long on that trade as well. We wanted to play Fisker breaking through 110. That never happened, so we didn't have to worry about it. I know Neil kind of got thrown around a little bit there on that trade. He was long early. down through $1. I can't honestly do that. But our Fisker 110 was a great level. It just stopped at 105 and never was able to break higher on that one. Apple long 193, we really like that one. And then Alibaba was another name that was on the sticky note. But again, we wrote that a little early, and it just kept going up, up, up in a way, and we weren't able to get long. So Alibaba today, a good trade. We'll look to get longer on that one. That's it for Sticky Note. You can find that at Trader TV Sean every single day around 8:30, 8:45 on X and on Instagram. Go follow me at Trader TV Sean as well on Instagram. Often imitated, but never duplicated. We are all the time, and hopefully you'll be able to see that. Let's go over a couple tweets quickly here that we had. Traders stay late. We will have a roll call coming through as well. All right, so an interesting tweet that we had out here. Look at this handsome gentleman. Jensen Huang here had 3 million shares of NVIDIA at IPO. I don't know. He's been selling. He's obviously been issued more shares as part of compensation packages and whatnot. Absolutely unbelievable. Today was NVIDIA's IPO date back in 1999. Those shares today, if he had held them all, paltry $90 billion. So that is a little mind-blowing. Look at this handsome gentleman. Amazing to see. I wish you could sort of see the computer that was back into here. But 1999, there's the Rolodex. Man, I wish he would have given me a call back then and said, yo, I'm on to something with this. Let me just call up and let's see NVIDIA and that move higher. Here we go, NVDA. I'm going to call up a monthly chart for that. Isn't that amazing? 1999. Technology, man. Fight it if you want. I would suggest not. We can't even go back that far, but you can see. Anyways, no, I can't. This is a monthly chart, but you're going to go all the way back here to 09 on trade ideas. I don't know. But anyways, huge move up. You could just see here, even in 2011, this is $5. Up to 600, a monster move for everybody there. I got to get going, man. We're well over. There's no way in hell I'm keeping Ramin too much later than this. There's Netflix. We showed you the subscriber growth. That continues. No surprise there today. That's it. And then something interesting to go find out, Alibaba's income statement. Go find out on my Twitter account right now, at Trader TV Sean, where all their money's flowing right now. If you, not yo, can I still edit that? No, I can't. Too bad. Maybe I can. Hold on a second here. No, I cannot, so that's a spelling mistake, my bad. And then right here, check this out, Michael Burry. I mean, really funny that his portfolio is still short the stocks. Will that pay off? That, of course, is the semiconductors. And we've done this before. Booking is on here as well. I don't even know what the heck Starbulk is, but there's Alibaba there as well, 4.38. Thank you so much for watching. A big shout out to Chris Bretcher. We're also streaming live on Twitter and X. You can go find me there as well. It's the Market Recap Show. It's going to be there for you. It's going to be out as a podcast and as on the playlist for YouTube. Go find it right now immediately. Go check them all out. Tomorrow we have Tammy, and then we have Danielle Shea coming in, and then Danielle's coming on Thursday, which is Tesla, which should be a hell of a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Thank you so much for watching. It's ASML, it's Netflix, it's Texas Instruments. You're now rocking with the best traders. Thank you, Ramin. How dare I forget roll call? My favorite part of the show. I'm going to say a hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. Of course, I got a chat in here. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Right now, there we go. It's roll call. You're here with me. Thank you so much for staying late. So let's do it. CompuCare's here. Let me know if you liked it. If you liked the show so far and you like this programming. Like, I'm staying late for everybody. Everybody's gone. It's me and Ramin and Obi. That's it. Here, period, on the floor. Who else? Kat's here. Hey, what's up, Kat? Kat, come over here. I want you to wave to everybody if you have a second. If you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to. What's up to Yannick? Derek Thompson's here. Clayton, Jody, Jim, Nick is here. Or you can put her on the two-shot. She can just do a wave from where she is, from our desk. What's up to D. Westermeyer, Derek Thompson, Bears vs. Bulls. There she is. Wave. There's Kat. Hey, Kat, hola. The Piper is here. What's up? What's up to Paulie D? There he goes. You guys want to see a little bit of cat? We show you. We deliver. That's all that we're doing, baby. All we do is win. Shout out to DJ Colin. That's not true. We lose sometimes. But we do have a hell of a lot of fun. Traders stay late. That's roll call. Thank you so much. I'll be doing this tomorrow. So watch me tomorrow all day trading. And then I'll sit here and just spend more energy doing all this and then go home and fall asleep on the couch. Thank you for watching. I'm coming home, my wife. And I'll see you soon, everybody.